Chapter 300, He's Here. Witch God Cult. Originated in Xia more than 2,000 years ago, mastering strange arts, there are curses, compulsion, ghost arts and so on in the southwestern Yunnan and Guizhou area originally belonged to a powerful force. However, because of taking Qin Fan's best friend Su Jing as a cauldron, it was then casually destroyed by Qin Fan. It has been almost a year since Su Jing has passed. I wonder what level of cultivation she has reached. The appearance of a quiet and beautiful young girl appeared in front of Qin Fan's eyes. Su Jing was a 7-aperture exquisite body, born to be the embryo of cultivation, and Qin Fan passed on the immortal cultivation technique, returning to the origin. With Su Jing's natural talent, more than a year Qin Fan speculated that she could probably reach the 3rd level of Qi cultivation, and her strength on Earth was basically already equivalent to the strength of the innate realm's great success. At that time, Qin Fan did not leave Su Jing to stay around to guide the cultivation. The reason is that Su Jing himself wants to go to the southwest to look for their own biological parents. Since it is their own choice, Qin Fan certainly will not stop. Since it was his own choice, Qin Fan would definitely not stop him. Moreover, Su Jing had the help of the Yuan family in the southwest, which was also safe, so Qin Fan naturally did not worry about Su Jing's safety. It was just that when Ma Sun said that the sorcerer god had awakened, then the situation was a bit different. Since the witch god sect had cultivated Su Jing as a cauldron, they obviously knew Su Jing's value. Now, there were movements at the witch god cult headquarters over in Burma, and it was even rumored that the witch god, who had been sleeping for thousands of years, would awaken, so it was likely that the witch god cult would once again set their sights on Su Jing. Qin Fan thought like this, while Catherine was concentrating on driving the sports car, heading straight to the southwest in the direction of Yungui. The distance from Jiangnan to Yungui was quite far, and one should have taken an airplane or Qin Fan should have flown there on his own. However, Catherine volunteered to drive, so Qin Fan simply satisfied Catherine's idea. This time, he drove a limited edition Lamborghini, the one that Ning Rushuan had given him before. All the way from Jiangnan to southwest Yunnan and Guizhou, there were rugged mountains and tunnels everywhere. But all this was hard to beat Catherine. Catherine's car skills is definitely a professional driver level. After all, long life, learn more things, car skills naturally outstanding. Called Catherine a female car god is not too much. Lamborghini's surging engine, echoing on the mountain road, caused many passers-by to pay attention. After all, the limited edition Lamborghini was too eye-catching, so much so that there were a few robbers on the road. However, all of these robbers had their necks casually broken by Catherine, and were even drained of Catherine's blood. Don't look at Catherine's good looks. Usually as Qin Fan's servant respectfully, she was a harmless little maid. However, all this was just in front of Qin Fan. Catherine was a blood race, and had been a ruthless character before, so when it came to killing people, there was really no softness in her hands. About 20 hours later, at noon on the next day, Koan City arrived. Koan City, with a population of more than 20 million, was the capital of the southwest region, and was also the largest city in the southwest region. But, even so, the limited edition Lamborghini with the stunning Catherine still attracted a large number of people's eyes. "Master, here we are, where do we go first?" Catherine inquired to Qin Fan. "We'll go to the Yuan family first." Qin Fan responded. Since he had come to Koan City first, it was only natural that he would go to see Su Jing first before setting off to the borderlands. The Yuan family was a top 5 cultivation family in the southwest and was famous in Koan City. Qin Fan inquired on the way and found out where the Yuan family was. The Yuan family manor in the southern part of Koan City. Qin Fan said to Catherine immediately after inquiring. Catherine blasted her foot on the gas and the car engine roared, arriving at the Yuan family manor about half an hour later. "Both of you, this is a private manor, please return." Arriving in front of the Yuan family manor, the guards at the entrance immediately stopped Qin Fan and Catherine outside. Although these guards were not cultivators, they were all innate accomplished experts. "Go inform and tell Yunzhe Jiangnan that Master Qin is visiting," Qin Fan said indifferently. The guards at the door saw that Catherine had an extraordinary temperament and was driving a limited edition Lamborghini, and felt that this woman came from a great source, and after hesitating for a moment, they went in to inform. Inside the hall of the Yuan family manor, there were 5 people sitting around a round table at the moment, while a large number of disciples were standing around. The 5 people on the round table were both male and female, all of them with extraordinary temperament. Yunzhe, the master of the Yuan family, was among them. Among these 5 people, Yunzhe's cultivation could only be regarded as medium, and the strongest among them was an old man with a white beard and white hair. "Qian family lord, Dinger was lost in your Qian family, you should give me an explanation, right?" Yunzhe questioned the middle-aged beautiful woman sitting opposite him. The one known as the Qian family master was a middle-aged beautiful woman in her 40s, wearing a moon-white loose robe and a noble hair bun, exuding a noble and cool aura. Yuan family master, I know Su Jing is your goddaughter, and I know you're worried when she was snatched away. However, the witch god cult of the Burmese kingdom is raging, that witch god is about to awaken, and it's the witch king himself who has come to our door to snatch her, so our Qian family can't stop it at all. This Qian family head said very calmly. And this Qian family head was named Qian Yuru. 3 days ago, Su Jing had gone to the Qian family to catch up at the appointment of the Qian family's daughter, Qian Suping, but as a result, he didn't expect the sorcerer king of the sorcerer god cult to suddenly appear and forcibly take Su Jing away. The old witch king of Myanmar was a Taoist grandmaster, and a peak grandmaster. His strength and its toughness, the Qian family could not hold back at all. Su Jing was taken away in full view of everyone. As for the other three, they were Li Ying, lord of the Li family, Thin Songren, lord of the Thin family, and the lord of the Gao family, Gao Wendi, master of the Yun family. The summer kingdom witch god cult has been destroyed, and now that Su Jing was taken away by the main kingdom witch god cult, it no longer has much to do with us, so what do you care? Right, the Burmese witch god cult, even if they used Su Jing to really create a real person of the Tao Dharma god realm, so what? It still won't be able to enter the land of the summer kingdom and won't be able to threaten us at all. Cloud family master, why do you care so much? I see that Su Jing is not the Yun family lord's goddaughter, but rather a lover, and that's what makes the Yun family lord so concerned. These three family lords expressed their dissatisfaction that Yunzhe had gone so far as to open the five families' assembly because of Su Jing's loss. Once Yunzhe heard these words, he was so anxious that he cursed. Do you guys know what Su Jing's origin is? It's just a wild girl who ran out of the mountains. What's the big deal? As soon as Yunzhe's words fell, a disdainful voice rang out. The one who spoke was the daughter of the Chen family, Chen Suping, who had always been hostile to Su Jing, who had outstanding cultivation talent, and she was the one who had asked Su Jing to come to the Qian family that day. As a result, Su Jing had been kidnapped by someone who came out of nowhere, and she was in a mood to say the least. When the others heard this, they also nodded their heads in succession, feeling that it was right to say that Su Jing being snatched away by the Burmese witch god cult was as good as snatched away, and that it had very little to do with them. You guys, don't even know who is standing behind Su Jing. Yunzhe was so exasperated by what these people said that he could barely speak. Who's standing? A wild girl who came out of a ravine and doesn't even know who her parents are. Who can be behind her? Gao Wendi said disdainfully. When Yunzhe heard this, he was so angry that he was about to swear, and this time a guard hurriedly ran in and said to Yunzhe, Family master, there is a person outside who calls himself Jiangnan Master Qin who wants to see you. When Yunzhe heard this, his scalp instantly tingled, then he said in a low voice, He's here. Chapter 301, Shock and Awe. Who's coming? Qian Yuru asked with a slight frown on her brows when she heard Yunzhe's words. The person behind Su Jing is here. Yunzhe said with a clench of his teeth. When the crowd heard this, they glanced at each other, then Gao Wendi took the lead and said, What's the harm in coming, just let me meet him. This is Southwest Kuan City, it's the territory of our five families, no matter who comes, they won't be able to turn any big waves, so what's the harm in meeting him? Li Ying said with the same face of a few disdain. Not bad, come as you are, it's not a big deal, let him wait first, I'll see him again when we're done with this side of things. Thin Pine Man similarly spoke. Southwest Kuan City, after the demise of the witch god cult, it was already the world of the five great Dharma families. The five families were in the same breath, and had long since turned the western city into an iron bucket formation, where not even water could be poured into it. An outsider, even a dragon, had to be coiled. When Yunzhe saw these people, there was only helplessness on his face. Qin Fan was from Jiangnan, which was extremely far from the southwest, so they naturally did not know about Qin Fan's terror. In the eyes of these people, I'm afraid that Qin Fan was just a cultivator with some strength. As for trying to back Su Jing up, it was absolutely impossible in their eyes. Why are you guys barging in? Didn't I say for you to wait for the briefing? Just at this moment, the disgruntled voice of a guard came from outside. Does the hallowed Southwest Yun family not know how to treat a guest? An icy female voice came out, and then a miserable scream came out. Bang! Then Yunzhe and these people saw several guards flying into the hall and smashing heavily on the ground. What kind of person dares to act recklessly here? Li Ying's face sank as he slammed the table and stared angrily at the doorway. Only to see a man and a woman walk into the doorway. The man was dressed in casual clothes, handsome in appearance, but there wasn't a hint of true qi on his body, like an ordinary person, so it made Li Ying and the others skip over and landed on the woman's body. The woman had silver hair, the pupils of her eyes were also silver, her appearance was exquisite, and she wore tight-fitting power suits that outlined her extremely outstanding figure. This woman was a stunning beauty no matter if she was placed in the east or the west. More importantly, the aura on this silver-haired woman was exceptionally overpowering, definitely an expert. These two were no other than Qin Fan and Catherine. Who are you two? Don't you know that our 5 southwestern families are meeting here? Xian Yuru was not at all polite when she saw Qin Fan and Catherine and questioned. Qin Fan did not answer Qian Yuru, but looked at Yunzhe and asked, "Where is Yunzhe Sujing?" When Qin Fan came here, he swept with his divine sense and did not find Sujing's whereabouts, so he already knew that Sujing was not there. Yunzhe's scalp tingled when he was questioned so much by Qin Fan. He hurriedly stood up and said respectfully to Qin Fan, "Senior Yunzhe has met Master Qin." The others were surprised to hear Yunzhe call himself a senior in front of Qin Fan. Yunzhe in the southwest is not the strongest one of the Taoist Grand Master, but is also considered to be the first-class Taoist masters in the southwest. As long as he stomps his foot will inevitably lead to the vibration of the southwest. In the entire southwest, there is no one who can let Yunzhe call himself a junior. Even Gao Wendi, the number 1 Taoist Grandmaster in the southwest, can't let Yunzhe call himself a junior so humbly. However, at this moment, Yunzhe was facing a man who appeared to be in his 20s calling himself a junior. Could it be that this man came from a great source? Just as Gao Wendi and these people were filled with doubts, Qin Fan slowly said, "Yunzhe, before I promised to let Su Jing come to Southwest with you, and I also listened to what you said that you would definitely protect Su Jing, so where is she now?" As soon as Yunzhe heard this, he trembled and his throat rolled, but he couldn't say a word. He knew Qin Fan's strength, and even after that time, he had been collecting Qin Fan's news, the killing of Hua Tianqing in the back, and then killing that Dao Master of Emotion Dao in the Ring Island afterward. Such strength would only make Yunzhe fearful. "Since you asked about Su Jing, let me speak." Qian Yuru heard Qin Fan's intention and then spoke. "Who are you?" Qin Fan looked at Qian Yuru and asked. "I am the head of the Qian family, Qian Yuru. Su Jing was taken away by the people of the witch god cult 3 days ago." Qian Yuru said to Qin Fan, "Taken away by the witch god cult?" Qin Fan's face turned slightly cold at his words, turning to Yunzhe and questioning, "Yunzhe, it seems like you didn't fulfill what you promised." As soon as Yunzhe heard Qin Fan's words, his body trembled continuously and his words simply could not come out. "What are you asking for? The one who came as the sorcerer king of the witch god cult's main altar, his strength is powerful. We are not an opponent at all. If you really want to ask, go directly to the witch god cult. What are you being arrogant about here? If you have the ability, don't send Su Jing to the southwest. Right at this moment, an extremely disgruntled yelling voice came out. The one who spoke out was Qian Yuru's daughter, Qian Su Ping. His outburst immediately caused Yunzhe's face to change drastically, while the others looked at Qian Suping. Qian Suping looked at Qin Fan with a look of contempt. She was the lady of the Qian family, in the southwest, especially in Koan City, that could really run rampant. Qin Fan, a person who did not know where he came from, and surprisingly said so arrogantly, this made her very upset. Snap! Only, Qian Suping's words had just fallen, a slapping sound suddenly came. Catherine did not know when she had already appeared in front of Qian Suping's body and slapped her, knocking her over on the ground. Qian Suping looked up at Catherine, who was standing in front of her with a dumbfounded look on her face. Not only her, but the others were also looking at Catherine with stunned faces. Qian Yuru's daughter had actually given a slap in front of a crowd of people. Disrespecting your master, you should be slapped. After Catherine finished slapping, she withdrew her jade hand and said indifferently, "You seek death." Qian Yuru was the first to react, her body's aura immediately bulging up, ready to make a move against Catherine. Only, at this moment, Qin Fan glanced towards Qian Yuru. In an instant, Qian Yuru felt as if she had been frozen by 10,000 years of cold wind, and in an instant, her body stiffened there, and even her thinking froze. The power of a late Yuaning realm cultivator's divine sense was a descending blow to her. It was not something that Qian Yuru, a Dao master, could resist. "What, after putting my friend in deep danger, do you want to blame me for sending her to the southwest?" Qin Fan asked in a flat tone. Qin Fan's tone was flat, but everyone was trembling with fear at Qin Fan's words. Snap! The head of the Lai family, Liang, could not withstand Qin Fan's terrifying aura, and instantly his feet went limp and he sat on the ground, his face showing fear, wanting to speak but unable to do so. "Master Qin." And at this time, Gao Wendi spoke out loudly, "Su Jing being taken away was not our wish, and we shouldn't be blamed for our 5 great clans." Upon hearing this, Qin Fan immediately looked towards Gao Wendi, and a powerful divine aura of divine sense then shot out from his eyes, enveloping Gao Wendi. In an instant, Gao Wendi felt as if he had been hit hard, and immediately turned pale and sweated furiously, and in the end, he could not support himself, and the whole person was paralyzed on the ground, and a smell of urine gushed out from the crotch of his pants. A crowd of people saw this scene, all stagnant. The scene suddenly fell into dead silence. Gao Wendi was the strongest person in the southwest of the country in terms of Dao, but as a result, he was paralyzed and pissed his pants just by Qin Fan's glance. What was the origin of this man in front of him? It was really too terrifying, right? Chapter 302. Which God? God realm undoubtedly. It's fine if Su Jing is fine. If she has the slightest accident, I will slaughter all 5 of your clans. Qin Fan said calmly as he looked at a group of terrified people. After saying that, Qin Fan turned around and left with Catherine, leaving behind the still terrified crowd. Waiting for Qin Fan to completely disappear from the crowd's gaze, the lord of the Thin family returned to his senses and looked at Yun Zhe and asked, "Yun family lord, are you hiding something from us? Who exactly was that person just now? Why is this strength so terrifying?" "No. That's right, I can't even meet his eyes. Just by looking at him, it feels like I will die. Just now that person is really a human?" Shen Yuru's heart palpitated. She had just sensed that as long as she made a move on that foreign woman, she would surely die in the end. Yes, just a single glance from the other party was enough to leave her corpse without bones. "Yun Zhe, you talk instead. Who the hell was that person just now?" Gao Wendi climbed up trembling. Being scared to pee his pants by Qin Fan's glance in front of the crowd really made him, the number 1 Dao master in the southwest, lose face. Yun Zhe couldn't stop shaking his head as he listened to the questioning of these people, and finally said with trepidation, "That's just it, I won't hide the truth. Yun Lord which was killed by him, and the Witch God sect in the 100,000 mountains of the Xia Kingdom was also destroyed by him." What Yun Lord Witch and the Witch God cult within the 100,000 mountains were both destroyed by him? Didn't you say that you did it? When these people from Qian Yuru heard this, their faces changed drastically. Me? Yun Zhe let out a bitter laugh. "At that time, I was only a Dao master, not even a grand master yet, so how could I kill the young sorcerer lord? Not to mention going to exterminate some witch god cult. Everything was the work of that Zhang Nanqin master." This? When the crowd heard this, they all looked at each other. At that time, when young Master Wu died and the witch god cult hidden in the 100,000 mountains was slaughtered overnight, they naturally suspected it, but they couldn't find the truth. Then they could only listen to Yun Zhe's words that everything was Yun Zhe's doing. And now waiting for the truth is not so. This makes the crowd, the heart trembled. Not only that, the Circle Island Dao Master Emotion Dao died in his hands, as well as Hua Tianqing, and he still made the heavenly ranking update early. Yun Zhe continued. And after saying this, Gao Wendi and the others' faces were literally as pale as paper. This series of battles were all telling them that Qin Fan's strength was terrifying to the extreme, and it was not something they could mess with at all. Behind Su Jing is this Master Qin. At that time, if it wasn't for him agreeing, Su Jing wouldn't have come to the southwest to carry out her cultivation at all. Yun Zhe finally said with a long sigh. "I did hear Su Jing say that she had a friend who was extremely powerful. It's just that, I felt that she was just deliberately pretending there to elevate her status, and as a result, I didn't realize that the person behind her was so terrifying." Shen Yuru couldn't help but lament once she heard this. "Why didn't you say so earlier? If we knew that Su Jing's back was such a figure, our 5 families would have protected Su Jing even if we had to fight to the death." Gao Wendi blamed Yun Zhe. With a terrifying strength like Qin Fan's, this was a superb backer for the 5 families. As a result, it was good now. Not only did they not hold on to this backer, but they also offended this super big backer. Now, these people were truly regretful. This is truly a case of people sitting at home and pots coming from the sky. The Lord of the Bo family wailed there. "If something really happened to Su Jing, this Master Qin won't really take action against us, right?" Shen Yuru asked with a lucky heart. Su Jing was lost in the Qian family. If something really happened to Su Jing, the Qian family would definitely bear the brunt of Qin Fan's extermination. I can only say that Master Qin never does what he says. He said that if something happens to Su Jing to exterminate our whole family, he definitely exterminates our whole family, Yun Zhe said helplessly. When the crowd heard this, they were all bloody and trembling there. "We can't just sit back and wait for death. Gather the people now and head to the border to fight the witch god cult in Burma. No matter what, we must rescue Su Jing." Gao Wendi had calmed down and immediately said, "But what should we do if Su Jing ends up dying? After all, 3 days have already passed." Someone asked weakly. "What else can we do? It's better to do it than not," Yun Zhe said in a deep voice. Upon hearing this, the crowd nodded their heads and decided to go forward to fight the witch god sect's main altar over in Burma. In the southwestern mountain road, a fleet of more than 10 off-road vehicles was traveling towards the southern border of the Xia country. And Qin Fan was sitting in the center of one of the SUVs with Catherine. The southwestern zone, the terrain was complicated, mostly mountainous, with many mountain ranges and canyons, and even more so, it was filled with old forests of Mori mountains, and Qin Fan was not familiar with such a terrain at all. However, the 5 southwestern clans had inherited this land for hundreds of years, and had long been familiar with the terrain. Under the shock of Qin Fan's terrifying strength, the 5 great clans mobilized all their forces in just one afternoon, sending out all the experts they could, including 2 Dao Grand Masters, as well as more than a dozen Peak Dao Masters, or nearly 1,000 martial artists. The crowd drove off-road vehicles for mountain use and headed towards the national border with great vigor. "Do you guys have to die until the end to realize that you're contributing?" Qin Fan said as he looked at Yun Zhe, who was sitting opposite him. Yun Zhe showed an embarrassed look on his face and finally said, "I still ask Master Qin to give us a chance to make up for our mistakes. I see that your 5 great clans are not weak. Why are you so afraid of the witch god cult?" Qin Fan looked towards the window. All around were the people gathered by the 5 great clans, and the overall strength of these people was not weak at all, completely comparable to a 10,000-man army in Xia. With this kind of strength, no matter if it was the witch god cult of the Xia kingdom or the witch god cult's general altar, it would be enough to deal with them all. "Master Qin, don't know, what we're worried about is that witch god," Gao Wendi said from the side. "Witch god?" Qin Fan frowned at the words. "That witch god has really lived for 1,000 years and is very strong." Gao Wendi smiled bitterly and nodded his head. "Master Qin, you don't know, about 400 years ago, one of the dynasties of the Xia kingdom was overthrown, and the emperor at that time fled all the way south into the Meng kingdom, and in order to decimate the royal family of the previous dynasty, the new dynasty sent an army of 100,000 troops to chase them all the way to kill them, and the result was that right at the borderland of the Meng kingdom, there was a huge killing spree, which led to the awakening of the sleeping witch god, and in the end, the 100,000 troops were wiped out. Not even dregs were left. After that, there are also rumors that the sorcerer god also awakened once 50 years ago, wanting to step into the territory of the Summer Kingdom, and was ultimately repelled by the Jade Void Palace master of that year. The witch god has various legends and is very mysterious, but one thing is certain, the witch god's strength is really extremely terrifying. We have never dared to lay our hands on the witch god cult for fear of this witch god. God realm? Qin Fan asked as he listened to Gao Wendi. Gao Wendi nodded and said, "The witch god, the god realm without a doubt." Chapter 303, Statue of the Witch God. The border between Xia and Myanmar was filled with lofty mountains, and the witch god cult was in the middle of the lofty mountains. Immortal Master Qin, the witch god cult has a total of 72 witch sects, and the general altar where the witch gods is located is hidden in the middle of these vast mountains. When the caravan arrived in front of a mountain fortress, Gao Wendi said to Qin Fan, 72 witch sect. Qin Fan frowned as he listened. Well, the witch god cult followers are in the millions, and then they are distributed within the mountains in units of witch sect, and each witch sect has a witch lord, and the mountain fortress in front of us is called the Black Witch Sect, and our first destination is the Black Witch Sect, Gao Wendi said as he pointed one hand towards the majestic mountain fortress in front of him. The Black Witch Sect's mountain fortress was situated in the middle of the mountains to which it was headed, surrounded by cliffs, with only a goat path leading straight into the depths. Standing at the foot of the mountain and looking out, the mountain was full of villages and homes. The entire Black Witch Sect was feared to be inhabited by tens of thousands of people within the entire Black Witch Sect, and within the mountain fortress there were also a lot of various defense fortifications, and at the core of the place was a grand verdant stone hall. "Where is the witch god?" Qin Fan asked. Immortal Master Qin, the sorcerer god is mysterious and incomparable. The only people who know where the sorcerer god is sleeping are some of the top echelons within the sorcerer god cult, and the Lord of the Black Sorcerer is one of them, Gao Wendi immediately explained to Qin Fan. Qin Fan nodded at his words and said, "Then don't waste any time. Immortal Master Qin, please rest assured that we will absolutely capture the Lord of Black Witch and make up for our mistakes." Gao Wendi immediately cupped his fists and said to Qin Fan. As Gao Wendi's words fell, the allied forces of the 5 families began to attack the Black Witch Sect. The Black Witch Sect's mountain fortress was on top of a cliff, with only a goat path reaching the interior, making it a completely easy place to defend and difficult to attack. However, since the 5 southwestern clans chose to attack the Black Witch Sect's mountain fortress, they naturally came prepared, so naturally, attacking the Black Witch sect would not be difficult, for the 5 allied clans to defeat one could only see those innate realm martial artists as well as those of the sovereign realm flying and moving extremely well. And Gao Wendy, as the number 1 person in Southwest Taoism, rushed ahead of them. Break! Only Gao Wendy clenched his hands and pointed in the air. Boom! A volatile earth yellow breath surged out, as if a long dragon rushed out, bombarded in the mountain above. The roaring sound above, but also led to the ground shaking. The mountains, in an instant, will be the cottage of a defense fortification bombed out a huge gap. The gap appeared, those martial artists swarmed, rushed into the mountain fortress. Yuan, on the other hand, utilized his fire aptitude and sent out several huge fireballs in a row, blasting them into the mountain fortress, causing fires to break out everywhere within the fortress. The other clans likewise cast their masterful spells, from wind to water. It could be said that the 8 immortals each showed their abilities, and the Black Witch sect's defense instantly collapsed under the onslaught. Master! Catherine stood by Qin Fan's side and asked him what he meant. Go! Qin Fan said and led Catherine towards the mountain fortress. And within the greenstone hall of the mountain fortress, there was a group of people wearing strange black clothing. The aura of these people was strong, and every one of them was a powerful Dao master. And in the center of the great hall, underneath a statue of a god, an ugly-looking old man prayed to the statue of the witch god. Rumble! Suddenly, a rumbling sound resounded, causing the crowd within the great hall to jolt. What's happening? Is this an explosion? Many people were startled at the sudden movement. It's bad, Witch Master Elder, someone suddenly attacked our mountain fortress. A guard rushed into the great hall with a panicked expression and knelt down to say, someone dared to attack our Black Witch sect. What is the origin? The ugly old man was the Black Witch sect's Witch Master, and when he heard the report, he didn't panic much, but asked calmly. It should be the 5 great families of the southwestern part of the Summer Kingdom. This guard suddenly said, the southwest 5 great families of the Summer Country? This sorcerer lord revealed a disdainful smile at his words. It seems that these people foresaw the imminent revival of the sorcerer god, felt fear, and wanted to strike first, but it's just a pity that it's just a bunch of rabble. Pass on my order, everyone up and down the mountain fortress will join together to defend the enemy. After saying that, this witch lord turned to the many elders and officers present and said in a deep voice, go, follow me to start the Black Witch formation. If you dare to hinder the witch god's awakening, you will be punished by heaven. This time, let them have no return. Yes. These elders of the Black Witch sect answered loudly outside. The 5 great clans were a prepared attack, so at first, they were a force to be reckoned with and quickly attacked within the mountain fortress. However, after the Black Witch sect's people reacted, they began to encounter tenacious resistance. There were tens of thousands of people living within the Black Witch sect's mountain fortress, and these people believed in the witch god, so in order to guard their homeland they would inevitably resist the invasion at all costs, even if many of them were ordinary people. Kill! 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 The sounds of killing rose and fell. These followers of the sorcerer god held various weapons, and there were even quite a few followers holding hot weapons, fighting for their lives against the incoming attackers. Boom boom boom. A roaring sound resounded as a murderous aura rose to the sky. There were many arts inherited within the witch god sect, poison arts, curses, puppet arts, and so on. These arts were bizarre and changeable, causing the people of the 5 great families to suffer a lot. Of course, the people of the 5 great families were no weaklings either, constantly unleashing their unique techniques, also causing the witch god's followers to suffer heavy casualties. The battle immediately descended into a white-hot situation, leaving the offense and defense at an even keel. Knowing that Gao Wendy was leading Yuan and these family lords to join, it instantly tilted the battle. Flaming Raging Dragon. Yuan activated the mana on his body and a crimson flame surged out, transforming into a fire dragon that raged madly within the mountain fortress. Jian Yuru, on the other hand, cast a water technique that the Qian family also had. A water dragon roared, destroying everything within the mountain fortress. The strongest of them all was Gao Wendy, the strongest Dao master in the southwest, and when he struck, the ground shook and countless rocks rolled before transforming into a huge rock giant. Boom! The rock giant's fist blasted down like a huge bomb, exploding, blowing out a huge deep pit in the mountain. Master, it looks like taking it down wasn't that difficult. Catherine then said as she saw Gao Wendy and the others exerting their formidable strength to quickly break down the resistance within the Black Witch sect. Qin Fan on the other hand nodded casually. These people's magic spells were child's play in his eyes, so he didn't care much about them. He only wanted results now. The Black Witch sect's side was routed by the powerful Dao Grand Master and soon retreated before the mountain fortress's lapis lazuli hall. Black Witch Lord, gird your loins or we'll have no choice but to strike. Gao Wendi stood at the very front and spoke loudly in a spirited manner. At this moment, they were in a great situation, and with that, they took down the Black Witch sect. Want us to tie our hands? With this amount of strength, do you deserve it? And at this moment, an old voice came out from within the great hall. As this voice came out, a pitch-black aura violently rushed out from within the green stone hall. The moment this pitch-black aura rushed out, it quickly changed and converged, and then a huge demon god with 3 heads and 6 arms appeared in front of everyone. Chapter 304, A Palm Slap. Ooh! The moment this 3-headed, 6-armed demon god appeared, it let out a terrifying roar. Along with this roaring sound, a pitch-black aura swept through the mountain fortress covering the sky, and in an instant, day turned into night. Under the sweeping black aura, those witch god cultists who had already become corpses unexpectedly climbed up and transformed into a set of puppet zombies. Ooh! One terrifying roaring sound after another came out as a corpse transformed into a puppet zombie crawled up, emitting an eerie aura. This is the witch god cult's Black Witch zombie puppet formation. It's all zombie puppets. In an instant, those guards from the 5 great houses revealed a look of horror, and some were even scared to the point of having their livers cracked. This was the witch god cult, which knew all sorts of bizarre arts, and among them, the Black Witch sect was famous for its puppet corpse control art, turning those who believed in the witch god into zombie monsters that could only kill. It's no big deal, Immortal Master Qin is here, and such evil ways can be broken with a snap of his fingers. Yuan did not panic for a second in the face of the sudden change, but said loudly. When the crowd heard this, they instantly sobered up. They came to their senses at once. Qin Fan had yet to make a move, and this was an expert who had made the 5 great families of the Southwest bow down and had a great battle record. This was their bottom card. With such a great person here, what did they have to fear? As long as that witch god statue is broken, all zombie puppets will be turned into yellow earth. Gao Wendi let out a furious shout and launched an attack on that 3-headed, 6-armed witch god statue in the lead. Kill! In an instant, killing sounds rose in all directions as the people of the 5 great families launched a frantic attack, with a single spell being struck out, while those martial artists rushed to the forefront, engaging those zombies that crawled upon these zombies and the powerful witch god magic statue of the edition, become invulnerable to swords and spears, endless strength, without a trace of pain, but also do not know what death is. These zombie monsters only had the instinct to kill, and crazily launched ferocious attacks on those who came to attack. After just a few rounds of attacks, the 5 great families could not withstand it. Gao Wendi and the others were equally helpless against the huge witch god demon statue. This sorcerer god demon statue was clearly carrying the power of the sorcerer god, and even the sorcerer god's will, and those spells bombarding it had no effect at all. Immortal Master Qin. Yuan saw that he had suffered heavy losses, then he turned his head to look at Qin Fan who had been watching the battle. Qin Fan stood not far away, looking at the witch god demon statue inside. I originally thought that I didn't need to make a move here, but I didn't realize that the witch god cult over here really does have some relationship with the witch race. Qin Fan looked around for a moment. The witch god cult's tactics did remind him of the witch race he had once encountered, especially the 3-headed, 6-armed witch god demon statue at this moment. This demonic statue exuded the aura of a shadowy corpse, turning the dead into zombie puppets, which was the same as the sorcerer race's corpse control technique, only somewhat rudimentary. As Qin Fan's words fell, he raised a palm and suppressed it towards the front. Rumble! A deafening roar resounded as a palm pressed down, as if the mountains and rivers were shaking and making drumming sounds, while a huge palm shadow appeared in the void, covering the sky and the sun. This huge palm shadow became golden in color, emitting a divine aura. This aura instantly swept across the entire field, dispersing those evil spirits, and the original darkness was instantly dispersed, and the surroundings once again became bright. This is? Regardless of whether it was the people from the witch god cult or the 5 great families, all of them were dumbfounded when they saw this golden palm print. The golden palm print suppressed and those zombies instantly burned with golden flames before turning into ashes, while the demonic statue of the sorcerer god also burned with golden flames. Wah! The demonic statue of the sorcerer god continued to emit mournful wailing sounds as that huge body began to collapse even before the golden palm shadow could suppress it. God Realm, Immortal Master Qin has indeed stepped into the God Realm a long time ago. Gao Wendi couldn't help but cry out in shock at the sight. This was the God Realm, the realm of the passing god. A palm suppression, destroying everything, no matter what, all destroyed. No, this is impossible. The Black Witch Lord let out a voice of fear in the face of this devastating golden palm shadow. That three-headed, six-armed statue of the sorcerer god was carrying the power of the sorcerer god, and it even had the sorcerer god's consciousness in it. The sorcerer god was an existence of the god realm. And this idol could not be blocked by anyone who was not of the god realm. Now, the statue of the sorcerer god began to crumble upon mere contact with the breath. The strength of that person who had cast this palm was simply unimaginable. Boom! Eventually, the golden palm shadow fell, and a resounding boom came from the sky, and the entire mountain shook as the sky was filled with smoke and dust. Whistled up about a few minutes later, the smoke and dust dispersed. Everyone looked to the palm shadow fell at the moment, only to see that the place has been flattened by a palm. What the great hall, what the statue of the god all disappeared, leaving behind after that the powerful power that has not been dispersed for a long time. This power is too terrifying. The power of this palm actually flattened the entire mountain. This is really a power that can be controlled by a human being. The hearts of the people from the 5 great families of the southwest trembled at the sight of the flattened mountaintop. Let's go, up there. And at this moment, Xin Fan's faint voice rang out. After saying that, Xin Fan led Catherine towards the top of the mountain quickly follow Immortal Master Qin. Seeing this, Yunzhe hurriedly shouted to the others. The others only came back to their senses when they heard Yunzhe's voice and hurriedly followed Xin Fan's lead up the mountain. Soon, Xin Fan led the crowd to the top of the mountain that he had slapped into flat ground, only to see those people from the Black Witch sect in the middle of the mountaintop sitting on the ground with their heads hanging down and their eyes lifeless. Xin Fan had stayed his hand with that slap because he needed to keep some people to ask what he wanted to know. Bring the leader here to me. Xin Fan stood there with his hands behind his back as his flat voice rang out. Soon, Gao Wendi came to Xin Fan with a wounded old man tied up. Immortal Master Qin, this person is the Black Witch sect's witch master, named Yuan. Gao Wendi said as he tied up the Black Witch Lord in front of Xin Fan. Do you know where a woman named Su Jing is? Xin Fan asked as he looked at Yuan. Yuan looked at Xin Fan listlessly and did not say anything. Forget it, I'll do it myself. Seeing that the other party was not answering, Xin Fan did not bother to waste time and pressed his palm on Yuan's head and chose to search his soul. Yuan let out a mournful wailing sound and soon lost consciousness before dying. Immortal Master Qin, have you found any clues? Gao Wendi hurriedly asked when he saw Yuan's sudden death. This man did not know Su Jing's whereabouts, but I learned one thing from his memories. Xin Fan said. What is it? Gao Wendi asked with some curiosity. The Witch God Sacrifice Ceremony. Xin Fan said. Chapter 305, Hua Mountain City. Witch God Sacrifice Ceremony. Once Gao Wendi and the others heard what Xin Fan said, their faces changed drastically. What? Xin Fan asked when he saw these people's faces change. Sure enough, the rumors of the sorcerer god awakening are true. Yes, no wonder the people of the witch god cult would make so many moves during this period of time, even daring to directly enter Kuan City to rob people. It's true that the witch god is about to awaken. Gao Wendi and the others were worried. This witch god sacrifice ceremony is related to the witch god awakening. Xin Fan asked. Immortal Master Qin, whenever the sorcerer god is about to awaken, the sorcerer god sect will organize a grand ceremony. This is the sorcerer god sacrifice ceremony. Every time the ceremony is held, the 72 sorcerer sects of the sorcerer god sect will gather to welcome the sorcerer god's awakening, and the last time the ceremony was held was more than 50 years ago. Gao Wendi explained to Xin Fan. Su Jing must have been taken to the witch god sacrifice ceremony. Xin Fan probably guessed the reason after hearing these explanations. Su Jing might have been used as a sacrifice by the people of the witch god cult to the witch god that was about to awaken. Immortal Master Qin, do you know where the witch god sacrifice ceremony is held? Gao Wendi asked. Yes, that place is called the Witch God Mountain. Do you know where it is? Xin Fan said. Of course, this was scraped from that sorcerer lord's memory. Xin Fan only knew the name of the place but not the exact place, so he could only ask Gao Wendi and these people. Witch God Mountain, it really is in Witch God Mountain. Upon hearing this, Gao Wendi's expression changed and he immediately said. Where is the Witch God Mountain? Xin Fan asked. Immortal Master Qin, the Witch God Mountain is not a mountain, but a city. This city is known as the Witch God Mountain in the Burmese Kingdom, while in the Xia Kingdom, it is known as the Hua Mountain City. Gao Wendi explained to Xin Fan. Hua Mountain City, isn't this the mountain city that Ma differently told me about? Qin Fan said in his heart as soon as he heard this. Ma differently had told Qin Fan that their Ma family's jade mine on the border of Burma and Xia was located around Wa Mountain City. Immortal Master Qin, let's send you to Wa Mountain City. Yun Zhe volunteered to help and said. No need, I'll go by myself. Qin Fan set out. When the crowd heard this, they naturally did not dare to have any thoughts of disobedience. Now that Su Jing had been taken away for 4 days, she could be offered as a sacrifice to the sorcerer god at any time, and it had to be as soon as possible now, so these people didn't dare to delay. Qin Fan waved his hand at Catherine and instantly transformed into a red light as he swept towards Wa Mountain City. Any modern transportation would always be slow compared to Qin Fan's own flight. Watching Qin Fan fly away directly, all the people present could not close their mouths in shock. Immortal Master Qin is indeed a god realm cultivator and can travel through the air. Our traveling together will only slow him down, Yun Zhe said as he came back to his senses. The crowd all nodded at his words. Qin Fan's strength was truly not something they could have predicted. However, the witch god's sacrificial ceremony is gathering the 72 witch sects of the witch god sect and the witch god will be awakening. Is it really possible for Immortal Master Qin to go alone? Cao Wendy suddenly said. It's his choice, we've already made it this far, as for the outcome it's no longer our concern. Xian Yuru said. The crowd nodded as they heard this. If the sorcerer god awakened, it would be a battle between two god realm powerhouses. It was simply not something that the likes of them could participate in. Shouldn't we notify Kunlun of the Summer Kingdom, and especially spread the word to the Jade Void Palace? Li Ying suddenly said. While Mountain City is not within the Xia Kingdom, and if the Sorcerer God Awakening doesn't enter the Xia Kingdom, the Jade Void Palace of the Xia Kingdom has no reason to care about this at all, someone spoke out. When the crowd heard this, they all nodded. This could only be resolved by Qin Fan himself. The border between the Summer Kingdom and Burma was full of lofty mountains, and the road was extremely difficult to walk on, but to Qin Fan it was nothing at all. He flew directly from the air, but in more than 10 minutes' time, he arrived at the border of Burma, Wa Mountain City. Wa Mountain City was located in the mountains, surrounded by a large number of peaks that surrounded it in the center, forming a valley. Within the valley, the seasons were like spring, and flowers bloomed, and because it was surrounded by mountains, there was only one mountain road into the city, so it was a place that was easy to defend and difficult to attack. Moreover, this is the border of Myanmar and Xia. Neither Xia nor Myanmar has ever set up a management organization here, so this is an unregulated area. Because of the unregulated area, the security is very poor. Many people who have committed crimes in the two countries hide here, so the whole city has become a mixed city. Moreover, because the witch god sacrifice ceremony was about to begin, the entire Wa Mountain City was extremely lively. At the entrance of the city, there were a large number of witch god cultists guarding the entrance to prevent troublemakers from coming. Qin Fan walked to the entrance with Catherine and was stopped by the people of the witch god cult. The grand ceremony is about to open, irrelevant people get out. A witch god cult follower with a gloomy aura stopped Qin Fan and Catherine. Just as this person's words fell, Catherine's figure flashed and appeared in front of this person in a flash, kicking out. Bang! A thick ringing sound came out, and this person was directly kicked into the wall, emitting a painful sound. My master came here to attend your grand ceremony, and you dare to block it? Catherine's silver-colored pupils were icy cold, and her body emitted this sharp aura, causing the bodies of those who were guarding to tremble slightly. In the end, these people couldn't withstand Catherine's strong aura and continuously looked backward before bowing and asking, I don't know what your excellency's origin is? You guys aren't worthy of asking your master's name yet, get lost. Catherine said in a cold voice without any semblance of politeness. These people were frightened and hurriedly got out of the way. Master, let's go in. Seeing these get out of the way, Catherine immediately said respectfully. Qin Fan nodded and then walked towards the city. What is the origin of these two people? Is it the sorcerer lord of any sorcerer sect? That lord should be a Southeast Asian, while his servant is a Westerner, and I don't know what the origin is. That woman is really too scary. Just by being looked at by her, I feel like I will die. To have such a servant, that lord's strength is bound to be extremely amazing. These few people had palpitations in their hearts after they watched Qin Fan enter the city. The people who came to participate in the witch god sacrifice ceremony were bound to be people with extremely extraordinary origins, most likely some old monster among the 72 witch sects, and if they were offended, they would surely die. Qin Fan and Catherine slowly walked into Wa Mountain City. You seem to be enjoying the move you just made? Qin Fan suddenly opened his mouth and asked. Aya, it's rare to come out with my master. Where can I let my master deal with this kind of minion? Catherine immediately smiled at Qin Fan. Qin Fan glanced at Catherine and smiled without saying anything. Master, I'm a little confused. With your strength, you can directly kill your way in to exterminate this witch god cult. Why bother? Catherine asked again. I still want to see what this witch god really is. Qin Fan said to Catherine, moreover, this time, there is another purpose to look for Su Jing, so it's better to find her first before we talk. Chapter 306, Nothing to Scruple About. While Mountain City was huge, but finding someone was not a difficult task for Qin Fan, he released his divine sense and quickly swept around Mountain City. What's going on? Su Jing isn't here? After Qin Fan's divine sense swept a few rounds of Mountain City, he did not find Su Jing. Master, could it be that something has happened to Miss Su Jing? Upon hearing this, Catherine asked with some concern. The sacrifices over here haven't started yet. If Su Jing is dead, it would be meaningless. She shouldn't be in the city. Qin Fan pondered for a while and said. If Su Jing was being offered as a sacrifice to the sorcerer god, then she obviously needed to be alive. Now that she wasn't found, it could only be that she wasn't in the city. Not in the city? What then? Catherine asked. That's not just right. Since it's not in the city, I have nothing to worry about. Qin Fan sneered. After saying that, Qin Fan led Catherine towards the center of Mountain City. The center of Mountain City was exactly where the sacrificial ceremony was being held, and at this moment, not only did the people from the 72 witch sect converge, but there were also a lot of criminals who had escaped to this place. Of course, these criminals were not qualified to participate in the witch god sacrifice ceremony, and could only take a look at the periphery. These people exuded a hostile, even murderous aura. A male model like Qin Fan, who was also carrying a great beauty like Catherine, became the center of attention for everyone as soon as he appeared. I'll go, what's up with these two? Fat meat delivered to the door? Heh, this woman is a real force to be reckoned with. Playing on the bed will surely make people die of lust. Many people noticed Qin Fan and Catherine and exuded strange gazes in their eyes, gazes that contained greed and viciousness. This was how it was within Vishan City. Fish and dragons mixed together. Strength was honored. If one did not have enough strength, wealth, and women that were all fat meat in the eyes of others. Non-believers of the witch god sect are not allowed to approach this place. Death to those who trespass here. Qin Fan led Catherine to the largest building in the center. The style of this building was similar to the one in the Black Witch sect's previous hall, only it was even more massive and spectacular, and there were even a large number of witch god cult followers guarding the outside. These believers were like a well-trained army guarding this huge palace, inspecting anyone who wanted to enter the hall. No one who is not a member of the witch god cult can enter or die. Catherine asked with a smiling face as she stood in front of Qin Fan looking at the people blocking the way. That's right, all the people attending the grand ceremony are believers of this religion and have invitations. Those who don't have invitations, die. A middle-aged man looked at Catherine and said coldly. But, we are here to find someone, yo. Catherine said with a charming smile. Looking for people? The people of the witch god cult listened to Catherine's words with a surprised look on their faces. Yes, we are looking for someone. Catherine, still wearing a smile like an angel, said. Behind Qin Fan and Catherine, a large number of people had gathered, and these people were looking at Qin Fan and Catherine with interest, wanting to see what these two were going to do. Firewolf, what are the origins of these two people you are talking about? Who knows, but these two look somewhat interesting. That man doesn't have a trace of true qi on his body, he looks like an ordinary person. That female, her aura is a bit strange, her body seems to be filled with a blood aura, and the true qi in her body is also extremely surging. TSK, it seems that this male is afraid of coming from a certain great family, while this female should be a capable bodyguard. This woman is really a superb product. Look at that body, that appearance, simply superb. If it can be sent to the Japanese country to be properly tutored, it will certainly become a superb product in bed. The Yachi organization over in the Japanese country likes to collect this kind of expert. Why don't we take it and use this woman for a large sum of money? Many of the people who were paying attention to Qin Fan and Catherine had revealed lewd smiles, and many of them had even already thought about how to dispose of Catherine, the great beauty of the West. Ka-ching! Only, just at the moment when the crowd was discussing, Catherine deepened her right hand with a thunderous momentum, clutched a guard's neck, and then twisted the man's head off. What was even more shocking was that Catherine not only twisted the head off, but also licked the flowing blood with her tongue, and even took a big gulp of the blood, using the head as if it was a wine glass. Crap, crazy, she's killing on the spot, not only killing but also drinking blood on the spot. This is provoking, right? Everyone saw this scene, all stared in disbelief. Ruthless, it's just that this is the stronghold of the witch god cult. This time there is also a festival. All the experts from the 72 sects of the witch god cult have come. If she is so provocative, even if she has a heavenly background, she will surely die. Many people shook their heads, a look of regret on their faces. Originally they wanted to take Catherine down to properly tame and play with her, but as a result, Catherine killed on the spot. Such a superb woman could only die. You seek death, how dare you kill someone here? Take her down and execute her to death. The people of the witch god cult came back to their senses and became furious. And Catherine sucked her blood-filled fingers with her mouth, with a touch of indescribable flavor on her face, and even more so, a touch of ice-coldness. Seek death. The crowd of the witch god cult went completely berserk when they saw such a provocative action from Catherine. The person in the lead was like a fierce tiger, pouncing towards Catherine, his hands transformed into sharp claws of a tiger, grabbing towards Catherine, seemingly wanting to tear Catherine to pieces. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Scarlet light shone from above the claws of this person's hands, as if it was a bloody long knife, emitting ear-piercing air-breaking sounds. This bloody long knife gulped sharp blood-colored light, seemingly capable of tearing through steel. This is the Blood Witch sect's eldest disciple, Gotan Min. His cultivation should be a martial Dao Grand Master. This blood tiger sharp blade has already been cultivated by him. This woman is afraid that she will be torn to shreds. A person saw this person strike and immediately spoke of this person's origin and strength. The onlookers all revealed a look of gravity as they watched this scene. Gotan Min was the eldest disciple of the Blood Witch sect of the Burmese kingdom, and in the future would be the Blood Witch Lord of the Blood Witch sect, and the fact that he was able to come to participate in the grand ceremony this time showed that he had a notable status within the witch god cult at the moment when the crowd was waiting for Catherine to be torn to shreds. Only to see, a crimson incomparable blood-colored swordlight violently flashed. This blood-colored swordlight was even more scarlet than Gotan Min's bloodlight. A blood-red sword appeared in Catherine's hand, which was like scarlet blood condensing and emitted a piercing bloodlight. With a flash of blood-colored swordlight, Gotan Min's attack was instantly chopped to pieces by the blood sword, and the blood sword even mercilessly chopped into Gotan Min's body, cutting him off at the waist. Ah! Gotan Min was cut off at the waist and did not die immediately, letting out a miserable and incomparable wailing sound. And Catherine took a step forward, the blood sword in her hand stabbed out again, inserting into Gotan Min's head. Instantly Gotan Min stopped struggling and wailing, dead beyond death. The onlookers were instantly silent, looking at Catherine in horror. Chapter 307 Kill. This, how? How could this woman be so powerful? The strength is afraid to be at the late stage of the Grandmaster realm. Many people came back to their senses and looked at Catherine with only fear in their eyes. Especially those who previously had non-existent thoughts about Catherine, their hearts were trembling at this moment. With the strength of a late Grandmaster, he was at least the guest of honor of a family. Where would he stoop to being a bodyguard? And they were just ants to be crushed at will in front of Catherine. As for Catherine's strength, she was actually only at the middle stage of Grandmaster. She was already at the peak of the Sovereign Master realm and was just a little short of entering the Grand Sovereign realm, before being brought to Villa 1 by Qin Fan because of the revival of that section of dead branches. That villa was filled with high-grade life energy. The Blood Clan absorbed the blood of powerful human martial artists for the powerful life energy within the bodies of those martial artists, and Catherine had been in that kind of place for almost a year now, and her strength was bound to break through into the Grandmaster realm. Moreover, during that time, Qin Fan would also occasionally instruct Catherine. Although Catherine's strength at the moment was at the middle stage of the Grand Master, which was the middle stage of the Viscount, because of the blood race's powerful physical body and unique battle methods, coupled with the battle experience that Catherine had accumulated after living for 200 years, her strength would definitely not be weaker than that of the late stage of the Grand Master realm. Just as the crowd was shocked by Catherine's strength, those of the witch god cult came back to their senses and their faces changed wildly. Make a move, how dare you kill senior brother Danmin here? Together, kill this pair. In an instant, a figure attacked and killed towards Catherine and Qin Fan from all directions. Those who were able to come here to attend the witch god ceremony were bound to be as strong as the 72 witch sects, and these people cast various techniques of the witch god cult and were unable to unleash their attacks on Catherine. The person from the Fire Witch sect cast a flame technique to transform into a fireball to smash at Catherine, the Ghost Witch sect cast a curse technique to incantate and kill in the air, and the person from the War Witch sect had blood chi boiling in his body, his flesh expanding like a steel giant. More than a dozen people struck out at Catherine at the same time. All of these people's strength was at the Sovereign Realm, and there were even 1 or 2 Grand Sovereign Realm strengths among them, and the power of the attack of more than a dozen people joining hands was so surging, a wave of power bursting out, like a mountain of mountains, and bombarding towards Catherine. Those onlookers instantly changed their faces. This was the strength of the 72 Witch sect gathered together. Qin Fan did not show anything in the face of this kind of attack, but completely handed it over to Catherine. As his servant, if he couldn't solve this scene, then it would be better not to do so. At this moment, Catherine's long silver hair was upside down and spread out in the void, and the monstrous blood chi surged out from her body. Handful after handful of blood-colored longswords continuously coalesced around her. Flying swords, somewhat interesting. Qin Fan looked at Catherine's moves, revealing a look of interest. He really wasn't too clear about the blood race's combat techniques, but now he had seen some techniques that he found somewhat interesting. Bloody sword rain. Catherine's silver eyes had also turned blood red at this moment as she let out an icy voice. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the next instant, the blood swords condensed by the blood chi turned into bloody streams of light and poured out in all directions. Ah! Ah! In an instant, these blood swords mercilessly pierced into the bodies of the incoming attackers, who were pierced through by the blood swords and then flew out upside down, with some dying on the spot, and others falling to the ground and continuously letting out mournful screams. In an instant, the entire scene was dead silent. In a single move, 9 people were killed in a row and 8 were seriously injured, turning all of the more than 10 strong people of the Witch God sect into trash. One must know that these people were the elite of the Witch God sect, no matter where they were, that were all respected people, and as a result, in just such an instant, they were either killed or wasted. Too strong. What exactly is this woman's origin? How could she be so strong? This move of hers, it's a blood technique of the Blood Clan. This woman must be a Viscount of the Blood Clan. Many people had already recognized Catherine's fighting method at this moment, the blood race's blood technique, and at the moment when the crowd was shocked at Catherine's strength, Catherine and Qin Fan had already crossed the gate and walked into the main hall. It's all 72 sorcerer lords of the Witch God cult inside, and even that sorcerer god's divine envoy is among them. There are more than 30 great master-level powerhouses in there. These two are really not afraid of death if they just go in like that? When the crowd saw Qin Fan and Catherine walk into the grand hall, they all looked at each other in disbelief, simply unable to believe that these two of them went in like that. Meanwhile, within the grand hall, the sorcerer masters of the 72 sorcerer sect gathered together, waiting for the sorcerer god sacrifice ceremony to begin. The interior of the hall was spacious, and the sorcerer masters inside sat around the center in accordance with their status, while in the center was a high platform, and on top of the high platform were 9 people sitting. Each of these 9 people's breath is like an abyss. There is cold, there is hot, there is venomous, there is even a warlike intent. These 9 people are the Witch God religion is the core of the 72 Witch door, and these 9 people sitting in the center of a middle-aged woman is the core of the core. This woman's appearance is general. Look at the appearance of 40 years old and above, rich body. This person is the 72 Witch door commander, the god of Witch God's divine messenger, the Witch God religion Saint Ant. Sacred Nun, when will the Witch God awaken? Everything is ready now, just waiting for the Witch God to awaken. Our Witch God cult will be able to sweep through Southeast Asia and become the true overlord of Southeast Asia. The other sorcerer lords were extremely respectful towards the Sacred Nun. There's no need to rush, the Witch God's awakening is already a done deal. What's important now is that after the Witch God awakens, I've already prepared a spirit body for the Witch God. As long as the Witch God absorbs the power of this spirit body, even if the Jade Void Palace Lord of the Summer Kingdom comes again, he won't be a match for the Witch God. The Sacred Nun said with a calm face. That spirit body was originally prepared for the young sorcerer master of the Summer Kingdom's Witch God Sex branch Rudder, but it seems that the Witch God Sex branch Rudder over there was exterminated by that spirit body's friend. I checked, this person's name is Qin Fan, and he seems to have made it into the top 10 of the Xian sect heavenly ranking in the Summer Country, and he is powerful. Many people spoke out when they heard about the spirit body. When the Summer Country took out the Witch God Sex branch Rudder was suddenly exterminated, they naturally had to investigate, and after many investigations, they learned of a person named Qin Fan, who also had a relationship with the spirit body. Heavenly ranking? The Sacred Nun sniffed and laughed coldly. The sorcerer god, that's the god realm, that's a figure above the god ranking, a mere waste of the heavenly ranking. Could he still want to come to the rescue of the spirit body? Boom! Just as the holy nun's words fell, a booming sound suddenly came. The main door of the hall was unexpectedly blown to smithereens, and then dozens of Witch God cultists flew into the hall. What kind of people? How dare they kill here? The Sacred Nun was furious. Her face sank as she got up and shouted coldly, "Hand over Su Jing and leave your bodies intact." And at this moment, an indifferent voice followed. Chapter 308, Massacre. Seeing the place being rudely blasted open, the people of the Witch God cult were all enraged and looked towards the doorway. only to see a man and a woman walk into the doorway, the man with his hands in his pockets and a calm demeanor, while behind him was a silver-haired stunning woman. "Who are you? Who? Daring to spread wildness in the witch god temple? Don't know how to die, how dare you barge into my sect's holy land?" The people of the witch god cult glared at Qin Fan and Catherine, each with an awe-inspiring aura. At this moment, it was the moment when the festival was about to begin, and someone was actually barging in. Was this looking for death, or was it looking for death? And at the moment when these people of the witch god cult were angrily rebuking, a tall, muscular big man violently blasted out a punch towards Qin Fan's place rumble. In an instant, a majestic fist dart erupted, transforming into a huge fist shadow that blasted towards Qin Fan and Catherine. This huge fist shadow contained a strong fist intent, and as it traveled, the astral wind swept through, and the fleshly body would be instantly torn to pieces by the astral wind when it was touched. This person was the Lord of the War Witch sect. The War Witch sect was a witch sect that practiced fleshly battle intent, with strong martial arts strength, and the cultivation of the Lord of the War Witch sect who made the move was naturally at the peak of the Grand Master realm. An ordinary Grand Sovereign would definitely not dare to take this blow hard when facing this martial arts powerhouse, and this witch lord acted viciously, and the moment he struck, he was going to kill someone, or even exterminate his clan. Only, there was no need for Qin Fan to make a move at all, as Catherine beside him had already taken the lead. The unique blood-colored aura of the blood race surged out, and a blood-red sword coalesced, then chopped fiercely towards the fist shadow. Boom! The blood sword chopped down, instantly shattering the fist shadow that was so powerful that it burst and swept away, killing those sorcerer lords whose cultivation was relatively weak on the spot. "This woman is not weak, let's do it together to take her down." At this moment, an old man in green robes rose violently, a scepter in his hand pointing towards Catherine. The moment this scepter was pointed out, a deep blue-green aura burst out, transforming into a turquoise viper that tore towards Qin Fan and Catherine. The Lord of the Poisonous Witch sect was performing a poisonous technique. Not only did he strike, but the others also struck out in unison. This time, there were more than 20 people who struck out together. Most of these people were at the peak of the sovereign realm, and there were also several who were at the great sovereign realm cultivation. As so many people combined their efforts in a single strike, that powerful force erupted, and the entire hall shook as if the ground was shaking. "I'll ask for the last time, where is Su Jing?" Qin Fan, facing this incoming strike, simply ignored it and instead looked at that holy nun and asked. This holy nun's face was gloomy and she did not say a word. "I will make you guys talk," Qin Fan said indifferently. Then he flexed his finger in the air and a chi energy instantly shot out. This chi energy appeared to be nothing more than a small air pellet of breath convergence, but the power emanating from it made the people present feel as if a meteorite had fallen from the sky. Boom! The chi pill flew towards the incoming attack and burst open. A terrifying chi energy transformed into a shockwave visible to the naked eye and swept in all directions. Those who attacked were caught up in it, their flesh instantly shattered and turned into blood mist, all of them dying on the spot. In an instant, the people of the witch god sect all froze there, filled with disbelief. Killing more than 20 people in a row with a single flick of their fingers? What kind of strength was this? But this was just the beginning, only to see Qin Fan raise his hand and point out in the air. Instantly several more people from the witch god sect exploded into blood mist on the spot. Qin Fan didn't stop at all, frequently pointing in the air. Those people of the witch god sect exploded on the spot under his finger, turning into blood mist and disappearing in an instant. The 72 witch sect people were slaughtered by Qin Fan. When the 9 sorcerer lords on the high platform saw this scene, their faces were filled with horror. And at the moment when these people were terrified, Qin Fan's body swept and had landed on top of the high platform. Below the high platform, there were corpses all over the place. The hearts of these people, the sacred nun, trembled at the sight of the corpses littering the ground. Those elites and sorcerer lords of the 72 sorcerer sects of the sorcerer god sect had all been killed cleanly by Qin Fan. You, who the hell are you? Why are you slaughtering the people of our witch god sect like this? Are you trying to make an enemy of our witch god sect? The sacred nun's face was gloomy to the extreme, but she still forced herself to maintain her composure and asked the others, on the other hand, looked at Qin Fan with alert eyes and slightly trembling bodies, not daring to speak. Being an enemy of your witch god sect? Upon hearing this, Qin Fan sneered and said, "Your witch god is not worthy of being my enemy yet." When everyone heard this, their faces turned ugly. If one wanted to be an enemy, they should at least be evenly matched, but the witch god sect was a mole in front of Qin Fan, and with so many elites killed at random, they were not qualified to be Qin Fan's enemy at all. "Where is Su Jing?" Xin Fan asked as he looked towards the sacred nun. You are that Xin Fan? At this moment, the sacred nun had already thought about what the identity of this person in front of her was. Bang! Just as the sacred nun's words fell, Xin Fan slapped out, instantly slapping a sorcerer lord into a bloody mist. I just said that I would hand over Su Jing and leave you all dead. I'm true to my word, don't ever challenge what I said. Xin Fan simply ignored the other party's question and said. The sorcerer god will soon awaken, Su Jing will become the spirit body of the sorcerer god's revival, and if you are an enemy of our sorcerer god sect, then prepare to bear the wrath of the sorcerer god. The sacred nun stared resentfully at Xin Fan. What's the use of keeping it if you can't understand human words? Xin Fan raised his hand and slapped it. Bang! The sacred nun didn't even react as she was directly slapped into blood mist. The entire scene was dead silent. It was too ruthless and too strong. The sacred nun was only below the sorcerer god within the sorcerer god sect, but for someone with such strength, she had not even reacted jointly and was slapped into a corpse by Xin Fan. Xin Fan's strength was already stronger than anyone expected. What exactly is the master's strength? Killing people is really like grass, and these people are all in the Grand Master realm. Catherine was equally shaken as she watched Xin Fan strike. She thought that her strength was already strong enough, but compared to Xin Fan, it was simply the light of a glowing fire competing with the white moon, not worth mentioning at all. Answer me, where is Su Jing? Xin Fan swept his gaze and landed on another sorcerer lord. This one was the spirit sorcerer lord, an old man. This old man was instantly unable to withstand a glance from Xin Fan, and his feet went limp as he knelt in front of Xin Fan's body. Immortal Master Xin, spare my life, I will surrender, I will take you there. This spirit witch lord completely disregarded his image as he cowed out to Xin Fan and begged for mercy, and after one person started, the others could no longer care about their faith and also knelt down to beg for mercy from Xin Fan. Xin Fan looked at the kneeling people and grabbed out with one hand, clutching that spirit witch lord in his hand before searching his soul. Soon after, he threw the spirit witch lord subsequently, and then just raised his hand and slapped out with a palm. Boom! A booming sound came out, and all the people from the witch god cult present were all turned into blood mist under this palm. This time, Xin Fan came over to uproot the witch god sect and settle the matter once and for all. As for the witch god cult surrendering and being used by him, it was not in his consideration. Catherine looked at the miserable everything and sucked in a breath before asking, Master, what should we do next? Of course, we are going to the place where the witch god is sleeping, but before that, this city should disappear. Xin Fan spoke indifferently. Chapter 309 Purge. Outside the central hall of Hua Mountain City, many people were gathered in the distance, and some even stretched their necks to look in. What did you say about the result? What else can happen? Going in like that is definitely looking for death. I just don't know how that pair will die. That pair of men and women are also really bold enough to just barge in like that, inside, but the witch god cult 72 which sex human elites are all there, they really think that they have lived too long. It's a pity, that silver-haired woman, she really is an extremely good quality, no matter where this is sold, it's a heavenly price. The crowd looked towards that large hall and kept making murmuring noises in the eyes of these people. Xin Fan and Catherine breaking into it really wasn't any different from seeking death. After all, there were too many experts of the witch god cult inside, unless someone from the god realm went in, otherwise you would be dead even if you were a peak grand master going in. Just as these people were discussing, they suddenly saw a man and a woman walk out from within the hall, and these two people were exactly the same as they had gone in before, with a trace of blood on their clothes, and not a speck of dust on them. This? What happened? The two are fine? Seeing the two come out, many people were dumbfounded. Inside, all 72 of the witch god sects witch sect elites were in there, and these two had directly killed their way in, only to come out unharmed now. This was mind-boggling. Could it be that they are related to the witch god cult? Or are they extremely powerful? Even if they are related, it's impossible for them to come out unscathed. Where does that leave the face of the witch god sect? The faces of the crowd were filled with doubt as they watched the moment when Xin Fan and Catherine both walked out. How in the world did these two come out safely? Only, at the moment when the crowd was wondering, Xin Fan and Catherine walked out into the open space, and at this moment, there was a bold person who walked up, ready to strike up a conversation. Only, before he could walk in front of Xin Fan and Catherine, suddenly his body exploded and turned into a cloud of blood mist. And in the midst of the blood mist, the crowd saw a shining light. This light was somewhat like a sword light, very sharp, and there was even starlight shining in it. And this sword light shone for a moment before it flew into the air. Immediately afterward, a scene that made everyone unbelievable happened, only to see that sword light blossomed in the sky with brilliant starlight, and then these starlights transformed into countless sword lights. Then these sword lights shot out as if they had navigation, and those who had extraordinary thoughts about Catherine before didn't even have time to have any reaction before they were chopped in half by the sword lights and died horizontally on the spot. Not only that, these sword lights still didn't disappear after killing one person, but instead flew within Yuan Mountain City before beheading all those people who were related to the witch god cult. These sword lights were all under the control of Qin Fan's divine sense, as he swept through his divine sense, and once he confirmed that the person was a member of the witch god cult, the sword lights immediately arrived and beheaded the person. As for those sinful people who had fled here, Qin Fan killed them without any softness. At this moment, a burst of wailing sounds came from the entire Yuan Mountain City, and countless people died in the midst of the sky of swordlight. Some people wanted to escape or wanted to launch an attack on Qin Fan, but all of them ended up being unable to escape death in the end. The entire Yuan Mountain City was nearly emptied by Qin Fan. Catherine witnessed the entire process, and even though the blood race had an extremely powerful heart, she was still shocked by the constant pumping of her heart, and it even felt like her heart was about to jump out. It was only at this moment that she realized that this master of hers, who usually looked like a mortal but laid down a killer, was only cold. Qin Fan's expression was calm after clearing everything out. And after the whole city was cleared, Ma differently only needed to unite the people from the 5 southwestern clans to come over, and then the whole city would be his, and he would be able to find whatever jade he wanted. Therefore, this time when he came over, Qin Fan was settling everything. Master, where should we go next? Catherine quickly regained her composure, only her tone was more respectful than before. After all, the whole scene of slaughtering the city just now was witnessed by the whole audience, making her filled with awe towards Qin Fan. Let's go, the place where the witchless god is sleeping, Su Jing should be there. Qin Fan said. He had learned the location of the sorcerer god from the soul search, and he also knew why the sorcerer god cult had kidnapped Su Jing. It was the same as what he expected, which was to sacrifice Su Jing, a 7-vesseled body, as a tribute to the sorcerer god. The sorcerer god performed a kind of 10,000 ghost soul swallowing technique, a technique that was meant to absorb all of Su Jing's divine soul and the spiritual chance of her physical energy to strengthen herself. Once Su Jing endured it, not only would she die, but the process would be extremely painful. The sorcerer god really doesn't know how to die. It's time for him to disappear if he dares to touch my people. Qin Fan snorted coldly and looked towards the southwest direction. That place was the place where the sorcerer god slept, the forbidden land of the sorcerer god sect, the real sorcerer god mountain. On the outskirts of the northeastern part of the capital of Myanmar, the Divine Mountain. This sacred mountain is the place where the witch god sleeps. It can also be called the Witch God Mountain. This mountain is perennially filled with miasma, poisonous gas, and even cold air. Mortals will only be poisoned by these breaths when they enter it, and they will not live for more than a few hours. However, within the country of Burma, there is a legend that there is a god sleeping in this mountain, so it is called the God Mountain. Therefore, successive presidents, prime ministers, warlords, and some powerful heads of families would regularly enter this sacred mountain and kneel down to worship the god in the mountain. In the deepest part of the sacred mountain, there is an extremely ancient altar. This altar was built more than 2,000 years ago, on which you can clearly see the mottled traces of the years. And in the center of the altar lay a dark coffin. This coffin was called the Divine Coffin, because inside it slept the witch god. Around the coffin sat 6 people, who formed a hexagram, surrounding the coffin in the center. These people were the successive generations of divine envoys of the witch god cult, and the duty of these divine envoys was to guard the coffin and wait for the witch god to awaken. At this moment, the 6 people seemed to be running a formation, and because of the formation, a stream of pitch-black aura continuously surged into the coffin. Suddenly, the eyes of a black-robed divine envoy snapped open, and a greenish-colored light shot out from his pupils as he let out a low, incomparable voice, Who dares to intrude into the forbidden land of the witch god sect? The one sleeping in that coffin is the witch god, right? As soon as this black-robed elder's words fell, a pleasant female voice came out. When this black-robed divine messenger heard the voice, he suddenly raised his hand in the air and struck out a poem towards the distance. Instantly, a terrifying ghostly shadow appeared and pounced towards the place where the voice came from. The ghost shadow was hideous, emitting a horrifying and mournful ghostly howl, like a resentful soul from hell, emitting a terrifying and incomparable hostile aura, and wherever it passed, it immediately crumbled and destroyed. Boom! Only, when this ghost shadow flew halfway, a purple flame violently bloomed, enveloping the ghost shadow. The ghostly shadow let out a mournful screaming sound before dissipating in smoke. Bo Palace, Goddess Shao? Seeing this scene, that black-robed divine envoy let out a gloomy voice. Chapter 310, The Nation Responds to the Battle. Old man, I thought you had been hiding here and didn't recognize me? Along with the black-robed divine envoy's words, that female voice once again came out before a purple flame fell from the void onto the ground before a silhouette walked out from within this purple flame. This woman was wearing a purple dress with a ponytail, and her features were extremely delicate. And at this moment, this woman was no one else but the Bo Palace's Xiao Huer, the Xiao Divine Maiden. With the appearance of Goddess Xiao, 5 more figures appeared from behind her. These people were all dressed in camouflage uniforms, and the word Zero was embroidered on the chests of these people. Team Zero of the Kunlun Special Action Team of the Summer Country. This is the Burmese Divine Mountain. Are you people from the Summer Kingdom's military coming here, preparing to go to war with the Burmese Kingdom? At this moment, the eyes of another divine envoy opened and asked in a low voice, I just came to Maine on vacation and heard that the sorcerer god was about to awaken, so I came over to see the sorcerer god. What's this talk about the 2 countries going to war? How can it be that serious? When Goddess Xiao heard this, she then said with a smiling face. As soon as Goddess Xiao's words fell, the other divine ambassadors also opened their eyes, their auras rising. Clearly, no one believed Goddess Xiao's words. You're worried that the sorcerer god's awakening threatens the Xia kingdom, so you're here to stop the sorcerer god from awakening? A divine envoy questioned. Goddess Xiao was incredibly strong, being a god realm cultivator, so how could these people believe that Goddess Xiao had only come over for a pleasure trip? I didn't say that you guys threatened the Xia kingdom, it was you guys who personally said that you threatened the Xia kingdom, Xiao Goddess said with a surprised look. And at the moment she spoke, purple flames surrounded her body. Goddess Xiao, you want to make a move just like that? And at this moment, a rough voice suddenly came from above. At the moment this voice came, a figure slowly descended from above the sky onto the ground. Hell's 8th demon god, Barbados. The moment Goddess Xiao saw this person, her pretty face instantly turned ice cold. This person in front of her was about 1 meter 8 in height, with a thin figure, while his appearance was a bit strange, as he had 2 protruding demonic horns above his forehead, while he had a pair of pitch-black demonic fleshy wings on his back. It's an honor for Goddess Xiao to know me, Barbados said as he placed one hand on his chest and made a gentlemanly salute to Goddess Xiao. This person was none other than the 8th demon god of X organization Hell, Barbados. Within Hell, every 8th demon god was a rank, and the strength of the top 8 demon gods would have a qualitative leap, and without exception, all of them were at the god realm cultivation level. Sure enough, the intelligence is correct, you Hells have indeed come, wanting to cooperate with the witch god. Goddess Xiao stared at Barbados and said. Goddess Xiao, like you, I am also passing through. Barbados said with a smile. Believe you, damn you, suffer death. Goddess Xiao let out a solemn voice. Naya. At the moment Xiao Goddess's words fell, a sound of a bird chirping in the air came out, and instantly purple flames blazed up, and a purple divine phoenix instantly whistled out, pouncing on Barbados. And Barbados' right hand clenched, a pitch-black battle axe suddenly coalesced, and then fiercely chopped towards the flying purple divine phoenix. Boom! A roaring sound resounded as purple flames and black aura intertwined and rose up into the sky, transforming into a pillar. The ground shook and rocks collapsed around them as well. The 2 god realm powerhouses then fought together. Meanwhile, Wa Mountain City. The witch god cult has been deeply cultivated in Myanmar for 1,000 years, and has long since integrated into all aspects of Myanmar, becoming the state religion of Myanmar. The strongest within the witch god cult are the successive generations of god envoys that guard the witch god's coffin. These god envoys are all powerful in their generations, all at the peak of the Grand Master realm, and even half-step god realm powerhouses. In addition, the witch god sect, as the state religion of the Burmese nation, manipulates the military and government of the Burmese nation, and the Burmese nation, from the bottom up, from the civilians to the prime minister, and those warlords, all of them take the witch god sect as their honor. Although the 500,000-strong Burmese army belongs to the Burmese government, in reality, the witch god sect is the master of the Burmese army. All of this information was all from Qin Fan's soul searching from within the minds of those witch lords. Master, in that case, the witch god cult is the Burmese country's supreme emperor. Catherine said after hearing Qin Fan's words. If I go to the Divine Mountain, it means that I am going to war with the entire Burmese kingdom, so stay here and wait for me to come back. Qin Fan said to Catherine. Catherine's strength was good, but now that Qin Fan was heading to the Divine Mountain, when he did, he would definitely have to fight the Burmese army, and Catherine would be a liability if she traveled with him. Master, I will protect myself. Catherine was a little reluctant. I am going to rescue Su Jing. it is faster to act alone," Qin Fan added. And after he finished speaking, he didn't pay any attention to Catherine at all, as his body swept away, transforming into a long rainbow that shot off explosively towards the distance. "Yes." Catherine could only lower her head and respond. The border post of the Burmese country had the elite troops of the Burmese country guarding it. Several teams of patrol soldiers heavily armed patrolled the border, preventing people from the Xia side of the country from entering the main country. "Remember, the witch god is about to awaken. We must guard the border and not allow any suspicious people who threaten the witch god's awakening to enter the Burmese country." An officer scolded the soldiers under his command in a stern voice. The witch god cult was the state religion of the Mayan kingdom, and the witch god's awakening was the biggest thing in the Mayan kingdom, and there was absolutely no room for error. What Myanmar was most worried about was that the strongest people from Xia would enter Myanmar's territory and threaten the awakening of the witch god. Therefore, the head of the main country ordered that the borderline be closed, and no one from the Xia country would be allowed to set foot in the main country, not even those doing business. "Huh, what's that?" Suddenly, a soldier on patrol pointed to the distance and said loudly. The soldiers in this area looked up and saw a rainbow light in the distance shooting at an incredible speed. The rainbow light flashed and arrived in front of these Burmese soldiers, and these sergeants saw the figure of a man. This man was naturally Qin Fan. Only, Qin Fan didn't stop at all and directly charged into the barrier. In an instant, this barrier was like the passage of a typhoon. All protective facilities were destroyed, and even some of the sergeants were directly shaken out. "Sir, this is an invasion by a strong Xia country. All the defense fortifications are all destroyed. What should we do?" Some soldiers looked at each other in dismay, then asked the officer. "This is an enemy attack, report it immediately." The officer of this place jumped to his feet at once. In an instant, the news that a strong person had invaded the Burmese country quickly spread throughout the Burmese military and government. After all, because of the witch god's revival, the entirety of the Burmese nation was on alert, and any breeze would draw an immediate reaction from the entirety of the Burmese nation. Just 5 minutes later, the president of the main country got the news: "A strong person from the Xia kingdom has actually invaded our country at this time. Pass on my order to immediately contact the witch god sect's divine envoys and tell them to be on alert. Also, immediately have General Aung San mobilize 500,000 troops. Make sure to block that Xia countryman." One order after another came from within the presidential palace of the Burmese kingdom. At this moment, the entirety of the Burmese nation was in a state of grass, and with the power of a single nation, they vowed to hold back this Xia powerhouse who dared to intrude into the Burmese nation in a dignified manner. Chapter 311 Swept Away. What kind of superpower from the summer country is forcing their way into our country? Is this preparation for war? Don't you know that this is a critical time for our country? In the office of the Supreme Commander of the Burmese Army, Commander Aung San's face changed drastically when he received this news. Now that the witch god's awakening was imminent and the Burmese nation had declared the decree of sealing the nation, he could still understand if the Xia country's strongmen sneaked in. Now that the Xia country's strongmen dared to forcefully attack the Meng kingdom in a dignified manner, it was a declaration of war in the Meng kingdom's view. A Xia superpower? Only, a middle-aged man in red golden robes opposite this commander-in-chief let out a disdainful laugh. The Xia country's side really does feel that the sorcerer god's awakening this time has threatened them. Venerable Red Gold, what is your opinion? The commander-in-chief of the Burmese kingdom, Aung San, asked this middle-aged man. This middle-aged man was the honored venerable within the witch god cult, and he was the true master of the Burmese army. In fact, news has already come from the Divine Mountain side that someone from the Xia kingdom has already infiltrated within the Divine Mountain. Venerable Red Gold snorted coldly. What? Someone has already infiltrated the Divine Mountain? What should we do then? This Anshan asked. Don't worry, the sorcerer god has awakened this time. We have long since received the oracle and made preparations, and a foolproof plan has already been made within the Divine Mountain. And this one dared to attack Myanmar with great fanfare. I'm afraid that he wanted to attract the Divine Mountain's attention in order to share the pressure from the Divine Mountain's side. Venerable Red Gold said with a look of having seen through everything and having it all under control. Please also ask Venerable Red Gold for clarification. Commander-in-Chief Aung San said. Mobilize the army and annihilate this person. I and the venerable masters within this sect who are guarding the Burmese kingdom will all make a move. The matter of the sorcerer god's awakening is definitely not something that can be lost. Venerable Red Gold spoke in a cold voice. Yes. Commander-in-Chief Aung San was instantly overjoyed at his words. This was the combined efforts of the Burmese army and the witch god cult's powerhouses. This was equivalent to pouring out the entire Burmese nation's power, and any stronger powerhouses would surely be annihilated. In the next moment, the elite troops of the Burmese country were quickly mobilized. Chin Fan was heading all the way in a straight line, attacking and killing the sacred mountains in the territory of the Burmese country. And his whereabouts were grasped by the Burmese high-tech means the moment he entered the Burmese country, of course. This was something that Chin Fan didn't even think about doing any concealment. He was just going to kill in a dignified manner and uproot the witch god cult. The enemy will arrive at the encirclement in 3 minutes. All attack preparations, tanks, artillery, snipers, fire at any time. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 60 seconds, 30 seconds. 10 seconds, 9 seconds. 1 second. Annihilate. An order was given. 100 M142 self-propelled rockets emitted a roar at the same time in this instant. The power of these shells was enough to destroy a house, and now it was 100 of them firing in unison. The artillery flying out of the sky was like destroying the sky and the earth. Commander Aung San was in the command room, holding a cigar, looking extremely cozy. This Xia strong man came very suddenly. They were not prepared enough, but he still mobilized nearly 200,000 troops in one breath. Almost all of the most elite equipment in Myanmar converged. These troops are equipped with the modernized weapons of Myanmarese, and there is no lack of black tech weapons among these weapons, which are extremely amazing in terms of power. The awakening of the witch god is the biggest thing in the Burmese country, absolutely no room for error. Aung San just mobilized over despite everything, just to make a great success and claim credit in front of the witch god. Very good. The moment Venerable Red Gold saw these modernized firearms firing in unison, a smirk appeared on his face. The Xia kingdom had first sent people to infiltrate, and now there was a strong attack, and he had been worried that there would be accidents, but now that he saw this kind of firepower, his mood was greatly improved. The sorcerer god had indeed calculated everything. One person, blatantly attacking the Burmese kingdom, even if it's a god realm powerhouse, I'll still annihilate you. Commander Aung San crushed out his cigar and laughed. In his eyes, god realm powerhouses were indeed very strong, but in the face of a modern sharp army, 100,000 people were enough to annihilate them, and now mobilizing 200,000 troops in one breath was completely trivial. Just as his topic had just dropped, the communication soldiers suddenly let out a cry of alarm. Commander-in-Chief, look! Commander Aung San then looked towards the image screen, only to see that within the screen, a silhouette transformed into a long rainbow, spanning dozens of kilometers and rushing directly to within the encirclement. At the moment he rushed in, all the artillery, tanks, and almost all the modernized weapons dissipated in an instant, and countless soldiers were turned into blood mist before they even had a chance to see what was going on. In less than 10 seconds, Commander Aung San saw the army lose at least a third of its men. Open fire, use the missiles. Commander Aung San reacted violently and roared at this communication device. And the moment this voice came, those soldiers woke up as if in a dream, lifting up their own weapons and firing frantically towards the silhouettes that appeared. Rockets, tank guns, countless bullets were instantly poured towards Chin Fan as if it was a rainstorm. However, all the shells could not even approach within 10 meters of Chin Fan, and all of them dissipated. This is the Chin Fan released the condensed Fury Chi field. These mortal artillery, bullets, directly touching the Fury Chi field, will immediately disappear. Against the powerful firepower of the modernized weapons roaming the sky, Chin Fan did not slow down at all, and still rushed towards the Burmese Divine Mountain extinguish. While passing by, Chin Fan raised his hand and casually chopped in the air, a long rainbow-like sword light then chopped down before exploding with a loud bang. The sword chi traveled across dozens of miles, and all the troops and weapons that got in the way were all turned into ashes. In just less than a minute, the Burmese elites were exterminated. The main country's command room, at this moment, completely fell into dead silence, so quiet that a pin drop could be heard. Back then, this is how the witch god rushed into the Xia kingdom's territory and exterminated many of the Xia kingdom's southwestern armies, and in the end, he was stopped by the Xia kingdom's Jade Void Palace Lord of the Year, Yuan, and then driven back to the main kingdom. Venerable Red Gold watched what happened for a while in a trance. He remembered more than 50 years ago, when the Xia kingdom was not strong and the army was not as strong as the current main kingdom. That time, the sorcerer god awakened, just like everything that was happening right now, and killed his way into the Xia country's territory, but was ultimately defeated by the then lord of the Jade Void Palace, Yuan, and fled back to the main country to fall into a deep sleep to recuperate. How could it be? How could such a character appear again in the Xia kingdom, a character that one person destroyed a country? Venerable Red Gold said with a trembling voice. Venerable, you witch god cult, quickly strike ah, quickly strike ah. Commander Ong San pleaded to Venerable Red Gold. Come. Too late, said Venerable Red Gold with a trembling voice. Because, he had already seen that the figure had already descended before the Commander-in-Chief's room. Only to see the Qin Fan glance through the window towards the command room, and that glance was as if he was looking at a mole cricket, and then the command room instantly exploded, and all of the people inside instantly turned into a blood mist. Too dead to die. Qin Fan spent less than 3 minutes to annihilate 200,000 elites of Myanmar. And without any pause, he went all the way towards the Divine Mountain. The government of Myanmar frantically mobilized all the forces that could be mobilized, no matter whether it was the helicopters, the warplanes, or those venerable members of the Witch God sect. All of them died in Qin Fan's hands. 1 hour later, Qin Fan arrived at the capital of Myanmar, and within this hour, Qin Fan wiped out all the armed forces of Myanmar, totaling 500,000 elite troops, and all the powerful people related to the Witch God sect all went up in smoke. At the moment he arrived at the capital of Myanmar, the head of Myanmar with all the important people from all over the country knelt on the ground to greet Qin Fan's arrival. Merely, Qin Fan did not pay any attention to it at all, but rushed towards the Divine Mountain in a flash. Chapter 312, Arriving in Time. He went to the Divine Mountain. Now only the Witch God can block this god of murder. The head of the Burmese nation was an old man in his 60s, and he was in a trance as he watched Qin Fan head towards the Divine Mountain. What had happened in this hour had caused this old man's heart to go into sudden stoppage. He felt a god descend. A god who was the enemy of a country in one person had appeared. He even understood why the gods of the Xia kingdom had attacked the Meng kingdom in such a way. The Burmese country was a neighboring country of Xia, and they had been in contact with the Xia military. He, the head, had contacted the higher-ups of Xia at the moment Qin Fan had wantonly attacked the Burmese country. The reply he received: there was no such person in Xia. This old man didn't know if the senior management of Xia was deliberate or if they really didn't know. However, he knew that this deity had killed his way into the Burmese kingdom and his final destination was the Divine Mountain. And the only one who could block this deity was that witch god who was about to awaken. Witch god, please send down divine punishment to destroy this heretic. Witch god, please send down divine punishment to destroy this heretic. The people of the Burmese nation who had watched what Qin Fan had done within an hour had now fallen to their knees, pleading in the direction of the Divine Mountain. There was still one hope for the Burmese nation, and that was the Witch God. This Witch God could likewise be one man against one nation. And in the middle of the hour that Qin Fan was killing all the way, the same battle was happening within the Divine Mountain. The two sides of the battle were Xiaohuar and Barbados, as well as the Archangel Michael. That's really interesting, angels and demons are actually working together. Xiaohuar looked at the two who were blocking in front of her, her silver teeth clenched. If it was just the 8th demon god of hell, Barbados, it would be more than enough for her to deal with her strength, but how could she not expect that at the moment when she was halfway through the fight and was about to take Barbados down, a white holy light descended to stop her? Dio Palace Xiaohuar, just as the intelligence said, a supreme genius that is hard to come by for 500 years in the Summer Kingdom, just in her 20s, she is already in the god realm, completely not inferior to that supreme martial god of the Summer Kingdom. A blonde-haired man carrying 3 pairs of angelic wings and holding a book in his hand hovered in the sky and said to Xiaohuar with a smirk, this angel was the one known as God's scribe, the head of angels Michael. And his strength was likewise at the god realm. Artificial monster, put away your disgusting face. Xiaohuar looked at this archangel and her teeth itched with anger. How could she not have expected that the divine punishment surrogate would also be involved in the matter of the witch god's awakening? Because of what happened 50 years ago, the Summer Kingdom had long been concerned about the matter of the Witch God awakening, and even the intelligence system of the 8th Scenic Palace had found out that the Western X organization Hell was also involved in it. Therefore, in order for this matter to be unsurprising, the Summer Kingdom decisively dispatched Xiao Goddess, this new generation of God Realm experts, and also paired it with 5 members of Team Zero. Only, how could Goddess Xiao not have expected that the angels and demons would cooperate? What a surprise! I didn't expect the Xia Kingdom to send out Xiao Goddess. No matter if you were killed or kidnapped, for the Xia Kingdom is mostly a great blow. Barbados stuck out his demonic tongue and revealed a hideous smile. The West and the Xia Kingdom were in the midst of strife, and this time pulling in the awakened which God could give the West strong support only. It was never expected that the Xia Kingdom would send out this Xiao Goddess with great potential. Whether it was killed or kidnapped, it would be a heavy blow to the Xia Kingdom. This action was just too worth it for them. Want to kill me? With you too, you can't do it yet. Goddess Xiao coldly snorted with extreme disdain. 1 against 2, and both of them were also veteran powerhouses in the divine realm. She really didn't have any advantage. However, wanting to kill her or even wanting to capture her could not be done yet. Goddess Xiao, your strength is indeed very strong, but have you guys misunderstood? You are not a pair of 2, but a pair of 3. Michael said. Buzz buzz buzz. And at the moment Michael's words fell, he only saw the coffin vibrate and a buzzing sound came from it. Goddess Xiao's face changed drastically when she heard this sound, and a purple flame immediately burned on her body. Phoenix Yin dance. Without even a hint of hesitation, Divine Maiden Xiao immediately cast a spell. In an instant, those purple flames transformed into a purple fire phoenix. And as Goddess Xiao launched out a palm, instantly this purple fire phoenix swept towards that coffin. She had to stop the sorcerer god from awakening. Once it was 1-on-3, her life would be in danger. On behalf of God, I judge you, light of judgment. It was only at this moment that Michael let out a chanting voice. After his voice came out, the book in his hand then shone with a divine light, and then a golden pillar of light shot out from within the book and blasted towards the purple fire phoenix. Boom! Instantly, the sound of an explosion came, the golden divine light and the purple flame instantly exploded, and the two huge strands instantly swept madly, and the surrounding mountains and rocks instantly collapsed, and a large pit appeared. How annoying! Xiao Huanger clenched her silver teeth, and a pair of purple fire wings appeared on her back before her body turned into a purple light and rushed towards the coffin. Don't think you can succeed. Barbados flapped his demonic wings at this instant and similarly rushed towards Xiao Huanger at an extremely fast speed. Get lost! Xiao Huanger coldly shouted, raising her hand and slapping out a palm. Another purple phoenix instantly rushed towards Barbados. Barbados swung the battle axe in his hand and slashed out. Boom! An explosive sound came, the strong force exploded once again, while Xiao Huanger's body swept directly towards the back and then landed in the distance. After Xiao Huanger landed on the ground, her pretty face was gloomy as she looked at the angels and demons that were blocking her. Barbados was close up while Michael was attacking with long-range magic. The coordination of one far and one close really made it difficult for Xiao Huanger. It's really annoying. Xiao Huanger was furious and stomped her feet. What are you guys waiting for? Don't hurry up and give the sacrifice to the witch god. At this moment, Michael then said to the 6 divine messengers. As his words fell, one of the divine envoys brought a woman up. This woman was tied up, her mouth was still sealed, and her eyes were brimming with tears. This woman was no other than Su Jing, who Qin Fan was looking for. Xiao Huanger's face changed when she saw Su Jing. Damn, did the people from Team Zero fail to save this woman? Xiao Huanger was dealing with the people from Hell head-on, while Team Zero was heading to rescue Su Jing. Regardless of whether it was her stopping the sorcerer god from awakening or Team Zero rescuing Su Jing, as long as they succeeded in one thing, this mission would be complete, but right now, neither of the two things had been accomplished. Goddess Xiao, if you brought people here, we naturally brought people here as well, so your plans have fallen through. Michael said to Xiao Huanger. And as his words fell, its 8 figures swept over from the distance. These 8 figures were all angels, artificial angels, without exception. Not only that, there were also 8 demons that appeared behind Barbados. On Xiao Huanger's side, the 5 injured Zeros leaned in. These 5 people's faces were all unsightly, having fought with all their might, and in the end, they were stirred up by the sudden appearance of the angels, and watched as Su Jing was sent to the sorcerer god's face. Hurry up and be sacrificed to the witch god by this spirit. Michael urged as he glanced at Su Jing. Those 6 divine messengers immediately pinched out spell seals with both hands, while the coffin then vibrated, followed by the lid of the coffin slowly opening, a pitch-black aura surging out, enveloping Su Jing. Su Jing's body then floated up, and then as if she was being pulled by an invisible hand, she slowly flew towards the open coffin. Xiao Huanger watched as Su Jing flew towards the coffin, and with a clench of her teeth, she once again released purple flames. These flames immediately transformed into the purple heavenly divine phoenix, rushing towards Su Jing with the purple flames in the sky. Right now, the only way for Xiao Huanger was to kill Su Jing before she was absorbed by the sorcerer god, otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Don't think you'll get away with it. Without a moment's hesitation, Michael once again offered up the divine book in his hand, and a circle of golden halo then appeared, enveloping the purple heavenly god phoenix. And Barbados slashed out the war axe in his hand, a pitch-black light then chopped out, chopping towards the purple sky divine phoenix. Boom. The 3 forces collided together, and a roar that resounded through the 9 heavens came out. The surging power instantly burst out, pouring out in all directions, shocking Xiao Huanger, Michael, and Barbados all flew backwards. Damn! After Xiao Huiger stabilized her body, she looked towards the altar, only to see that Su Jing had already arrived right above the coffin and was slowly falling towards it. When Michael and Barbados saw this scene, they instantly revealed smiles. The witch god would soon awaken, and because he had absorbed this spirit body, he was stronger than ever. Only, in the next moment, the angels' and demons' faces changed drastically. Even Xiao Huanger's face changed. Only to see that a large hand suddenly appeared in the sky above, then grabbed at Su Jing with incredible speed. In a flash of lightning, this large hand steadily grabbed Su Jing and ripped him out of the coffin. Chapter 313, 3 against 1. What man? Michael's reaction was the fastest, immediately looking towards a spot in the sky. Only to see that in the distance, a man in civilian clothes was holding Su Jing in one hand. The person who came was naturally Qin Fan, who rushed within the Divine Mountain at the fastest speed possible, and because of the commotion of the fight over here, there was no need to even look for it. Qin Fan immediately locked onto this place, and the timing was just right to arrive here. Qin Fan did not pay attention to these people. Instead, he quickly landed on the ground and released Su Jing, untying her. Qin Fan. After Su Jing was untied, she directly jumped onto Qin Fan's body and cried out, "I thought I would die and never see you again." These days, after being tied up here and locked up within the cell below the dark underground altar, there were many men and women in addition to her, and these men and women came from all over the world, and every day, one or two of these men and women would be caught out and sent to the altar, and then there would be mournful and incomparable screams coming from them, making the people who were locked up in the cells under the altar tremble with fear. After that, those who were taken out never came back, they all died. Therefore, Su Jing knew that she would end up dead. These days, Su Jing felt like she was really living in hell. Watching the people around her disappear one after another was really like torture. However, luckily, she was the last person to be taken out of the cell. Originally, she thought she was going to die, but she ended up waiting for Qin Fan, who she had wanted to see in her dreams. "It's okay." Qin Fan patted Su Jing's trembling back and comforted her. Only then did Su Jing come out from Qin Fan's arms. Her face with a faint smile answered, "Aha." This was the absolute trust in Qin Fan. After comforting Su Jing, Qin Fan then looked his gaze towards Michael and said, "What is the origin of this black and white fly?" "Put." As soon as Qin Fan's words fell, Xiao Huanger, who was not far away, laughed out, "Flies, I really feel that these two are somewhat like flies when you say that." Qin Fan heard the voice and immediately looked towards Xiao Huier. At the moment of seeing Xiao Huier, there was a trace of surprise on his face. He could feel the surging bloodline power emanating from Xiao Huier's body. It was a force of blazing flame. And this power, Qin Fan clearly belonged to the divine bird phoenix, but he also felt a hint of mutation in it. He then opened his eye of true vision and saw Xiao Huanger's true bloodline power. Mutated divine bird, purple sky divine phoenix bloodline. Qin Fan was a little surprised in his heart. This bloodline power, especially the mutated bloodline power, was rare. "Hey, you're looking at me like that, are you polite?" Xiao Huanger was also a bit unhappy by Qin Fan's gaze and immediately spoke out. Qin Fan then turned off the eye of true vision before asking, "Who are you? Someone from the summer country? You Qin Fan, how dare you not recognize me?" Xiao Huanger said extremely angrily as soon as she heard Qin Fan inquire who she was, and then glared at him. "Are you very famous? Should I recognize you?" Qin Fan looked at Xiao Huanger with a strange expression. "Admiral Qin, this is the Bo Palace Xiao Goddess." This time, the Team Zero member standing behind Xiao Huier hurriedly stepped forward and said to Qin Fan. Qin Fan froze for a moment when he heard this. He remembered that Tang Jingwu had told him about the Bayou Palace, that there was only one person in the Bayou Palace, and he didn't expect that he would meet Xiao Huanger this time when he came over. "Oh." Qin Fan responded. Xiao Huanger was really a little angry when she saw this attitude of Qin Fan. The other party was completely not putting her in her eyes. However, this is not the time to dwell on this, so she said, "You came just in time, together we can solve this matter." "Together?" As soon as Qin Fan heard this, he responded, "No need, I'm enough on my own." Xiao Huanger froze for a moment upon hearing this, and wanted to open her mouth, but at this moment, Michael spoke up first. "What the hell are you? Noisy." Qin Fan heard the voice and raised his hand to slap out. In an instant, a large handprint appeared in the air, carrying a mountainous force toward Michael to suppress him. When Michael felt the power of the slap, his face changed drastically, and the divine book in his hand immediately flipped, and then a golden shroud of light immediately enveloped him. Bang! In the next moment, the large handprint violently smacked on top of the golden light shield. A roaring sound came from the golden light shield bursting apart, a majestic force bursting apart in midair, and the surrounding space seemed to have collapsed under this palm, and Michael also in this palm under the instant, as if a fly was shot backwards flying out, ruthlessly smashed into the mountain, issued a boom loud sound. The distant mountain instantly concave collapsed into. All the people present looked at the scene that had just happened with their jaws agape. Xiao Huanger's entire body was frozen. How could Michael be a veteran god realm in the West, and as a result, he was slapped away by Qin Fan in the air? It was impossible no matter how she thought about it. A fly buzzing, what a noise! Qin Fan withdrew his hand and shook it off, saying indifferently, "Boom!" And as Qin Fan's voice fell, a golden pillar of light rose up to the sky where Michael had smashed down, and then Michael was seen rushing out, reappearing in midair only. Now Michael's reappearance moment. The image is very lousy, the body is full of blood, and the 3 pairs of angel wings have appeared broken. Michael's eyes turned golden and stared at Qin Fan full of anger. "Oh, you're a fly that's quite resistant," Qin Fan said as he looked at the fly out of Michael. Michael stared at Qin Fan while the divine book in his hand quickly flipped, then a holy golden light flashed enveloping his body, then the injuries on his body recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. But in a few seconds, all the injuries on Michael's body recovered. The book held in his hand is still trying to be somewhat interesting? A spiritual weapon? When Qin Fan saw this scene, he was immediately interested in the book. "Who the hell are you?" After recovering, Michael questioned once again. "Someone you don't deserve to know yet," Qin Fan said. Buzz buzz buzz. Just as Qin Fan's words fell, the coffin shook crazily, constantly emitting a buzzing sound before a low voice came out. "How dare you hinder me from devouring my spirit body? No matter who you are, I will definitely not let you go." Along with this voice, a long light green rainbow shot out from the coffin, carrying a rolling baleful aura as it rushed towards Qin Fan. Before the figure of the sorcerer god could be revealed, an overwhelming turquoise flame instantly swept through the air, and the entire divine mountain burned with turquoise flames underneath this flame. The divine mountain burned, almost reflecting the entire sky into a turquoise color. Outside the divine mountain, the head of the Burmese nation brought a large number of believers to kneel on the ground, kneeling down to the divine mountain. "The witch god has finally awakened. Our god has awakened." Countless Burmese believers kept kowtowing, making pious noises accompanied by the pious voices of the Burmese believers. A figure slowly flew out of the coffin and hovered above the sky. Michael, on the other hand, had a golden divine radiance flickering on his body, his breath constantly climbing, and his clean white wings of heaven were fully stretched out, more than 20 meters long. At the same time, Barbato's entire body had black chi gushing out, and his huge demonic wings spread out, covering the sky. At this moment, Qin Fan's body also rose into the air, facing the 3 directly. 3 overwhelmingly powerful god realm figures hovered around Qin Fan. 3 against 1, the battle of gods was imminent. Chapter 3:14 Angels, Demons, Witch Gods, all dead. 100 meters above the divine mountain of Mengwo, the holy angels shone with divine radiance, the demons of hell emitted demonic light, and the sorcerer god emitted a treacherous green ethereal light. There are angels in the sky. And demons. That's the witch god. And who is in the center? Is it a deity too? Nonsense, those who can fly must be deities. The people of Myanmar looked up above the sky, and some even took out their smartphones to photograph everything in the sky. Above the sky, they saw angels, demons, the witch god, and a young man. These people were levitating in the air, which only a god could do. Film it, the sorcerer god awakened, and even attracted angels and demons, as well as a man of unknown origin. It must be filmed, this is big news. A blonde female reporter, holding a microphone, commanded the camera crew now. These people were reporters from the Western BBC, because they got the news that the legendary witch god had awakened, so they wanted to film a big news, and now, angels, demons, and the witch god, and even a deity of unknown origin, gathered in the sky above the sacred mountain of Myanmar, which was to start a war between the deities. This was super big news, and it was bound to shake the whole world soon. People of the Summer Kingdom, do you have to get in my way? Above the sky, the witch god's turquoise eyes stared at Qin Fan and asked in a low voice. The witch god's appearance was that of an old man with a withered face, clad in a light green robe, with green light shining in his eyes as if they were green flames pulsating. You want to devour my friend Su Jing, I can only destroy you. Qin Fan said coldly. How ridiculous, the spirit body being devoured by me is her final destination. Now you will give that spirit body to me, and I can spare you. The sorcerer god let out a low voice, "Cut the crap, I came over this time to kill through you, so hurry up and do it, otherwise, you don't have the slightest chance." Qin Fan said blandly. "Summerlander, no matter who you are, you've hindered God's plan, so, God said to judge you." Michael stared at Qin Fan's golden pupils with murderous intent and let out a low voice, "Sort of divine punishment." As he spoke, Michael's 6 wings behind his back stretched to the extreme, countless golden divine radiance scattered, covering the sky and the sun. At the same time the golden light of the divine book on his hand blossomed, countless divine radiance shone out. "Die under God's judgment." Michael let out a cold cry. Archangel Michael took the lead. As Michael's words fell, the clouds rolled over Qin Fan's sky, and a golden sword of light broke through the clouds and slowly appeared above the sky. The sword of divine punishment, a golden light shone as a surge of divine power poured out, then drooped towards Qin Fan with a vast power. "Be careful." When Xiao Huanger saw this scene, her face instantly changed and she cried out. This was undoubtedly Michael's extremely powerful move. The divine punishment sword carried a terrifying divine might as it drooped down towards Qin Fan, causing the ground to shake. Divine punishment, this is the divine punishment of the heavenly god. Divine punishment from the heavens, this person's crime is great, this person deserves to die. Those heads and officials of the Burmese country, seeing this, kept exclaiming in shock. Qin Fan had killed his way through the Burmese kingdom all by himself, and now, he was finally going to suffer endless divine punishment. Boom! The divine punishment sword drooped down, a booming sound resounded, and a golden divine radiance shone, drowning everything in the golden divine radiance. No matter who you are, under divine punishment, you must die. It's also an honor for him to die under Lord Michael's sword of divine punishment. Those angels who had followed Michael saw this scene and spoke. This sword of divine punishment, those under the divine realm will have no bones left. Within the divine realm, I'm afraid that those who can block it in the current world will be a handful of times. Even if they block it, they will be injured. This Xiao person will die. It seems that I don't need to make a move. Barbados spoke out. The power of the divine punishment sword would be difficult for even a person in the god realm to resist. It won't die just like that, right? Xiao Huanger was filled with shock. This Michael's backhand was an extremely strong strike, and the power of this strike was such that even if she faced it, it wouldn't be easy for her to block it. And Michael looked at the area where the golden light shone, his anger gradually disappeared, and then his complexion returned to calmness and said, "As an angel, I shouldn't be angry, however, in order to put to death the pagans, God will definitely forgive me. With this, it's also called the sword of divine punishment, it seems that your God is not good." Just as Michael's words fell, Qin Fan's flat voice rang out. Qin Fan's bland voice came out, instantly causing those present to change in color. As for Michael's golden pupils, they instantly stood up and looked towards the place where the divine punishment sword was dropping down. Only to see that place, the golden light disappeared, and Qin Fan appeared unharmed in front of the crowd. "This god of yours really isn't very good," Qin Fan said indifferently as he looked at Michael with a calm face. The power of this strike, Qin Fan estimated that it was probably close to the power of the middle stage of Jiadan, and he, a cultivator at the late stage of the Yuaning realm, faced with this strike, he didn't even need to count the increase in strength brought about by his immortal infant, and even if he doubled it by 100 times, it still couldn't injure him. How is it possible? Michael's originally calm complexion once again turned shocked. He couldn't believe that Qin Fan was unharmed by his divine punishment sword. "Nothing is impossible," Qin Fan said faintly, then his body swept out with a whoosh, turning into a rainbow light and pointing straight at Michael. "Receive my palm." At the moment Qin Fan swept out, the witch god slapped a palm in the air towards Qin Fan. In an instant, a huge palm with green flames descended from the 9 heavens above, bringing with it a strong astral wind that suppressed towards Qin Fan. That green flame emitted a blazing power that covered the sky, almost scorching the earth and all holy spirits into ashes. This was the passing god realm, the power of the god realm, invoking the power of heaven and earth. The power of this palm of the sorcerer god was enough to flatten a mountain peak. In response, Qin Fan simply raised his hand and waved it in the air. Rumble! In an instant, a mountainous force surged towards this gigantic palm, and in the next moment, this gigantic palm instantly shattered as if it had transformed into a ball of green smoke and fire, and then disappeared into thin air. How is it possible? The sorcerer god's turquoise eyes shot out in disbelief. The other party, surprisingly, had broken his powerful spell with a single swing of his hand. The power of this palm was a bit stronger than the divine punishment sword just now, but it was only a bit stronger. For Qin Fan, not to mention injuring his body, even the corner of his clothes could not be injured. After Qin Fan blasted away the huge palm, he didn't stop and still rushed towards Michael. Michael's face immediately changed greatly, and the divine book in his hand once again flipped rapidly. Michael let out a hiss, divine thunder. Rumble. Steeply, the sound of thunder resounded, and golden lightning instantly blossomed towards Qin Fan to slash. Boom boom boom. These golden thunder lights crazily cleaved on Qin Fan's body, then jumped and tore crazily on Qin Fan's body, as if they wanted to completely tear Qin Fan to pieces. Scratching an itch is even more powerful than this divine thunder of yours. Only, Qin Fan swept to Michael's body unharmed and said indifferently. Michael looked at Qin Fan, who was close at hand, his face fearful afterward. Was this person in front of him a monster? Qin Fan, on the other hand, reached out and snatched the divine book from Michael's hand to see what this book was. Only, at this moment, a black light suddenly shot in. Watch out! Xiao Huanger hissed out at this instant. It was also at this moment that Barbados violently rushed behind Qin Fan, holding a pitch-black battle axe in both hands, and ruthlessly slashed towards Qin Fan's neck. Boom! An axe chopped down, and immediately the black light exploded, and then only the black axe was seen to fall apart, leaving only the pitch-black handle behind. Barbados held the pitch-black axe handle in both hands, his eyes glaring at the black axe that was reduced to pieces, his face filled with incredulity. From the beginning, he had brooded up, wanting to look for an opportunity to deal a fatal blow to this suddenly appearing Xia man. And the moment this Xia native grabbed that divine book, exposing the back of his neck to him, it was this moment that he unleashed the fatal blow. Only, how could he not expect that this axe chopped at the back of Qin Fan's neck and the hell battle axe crumbled? Qin Fan twisted his head and looked at Barbados, giving you the opportunity to sneak attack, just like this? When Barbados heard this, his face changed and he asked incredulously, you deliberately gave me a sneak attack? Otherwise, do you think you have a chance? Qin Fan said with disdain, and after he finished speaking, the divine book in his hand immediately turned the pages, and then he spat out two words, divine thunder. Instantly, several golden thunders instantly surged out and slashed towards Barbados. Boom boom boom. A golden divine thunder struck on top of Barbados' body, causing him to continuously emit painful screams, splitting him with black smoke all over his body, and splitting him as he rotated crazily in the sky. Not a bad toy, it's just that it's limited to the means of refining, and its maximum power can only go up to the power of a Jidan stage divine power. Qin Fan looked at the released divine thunder and said, how is it possible? How can you use the divine book? It has the brand of a god on it. It's impossible for any other living being to use it other than me. Michael roared out at Qin Fan, you said that uncharacteristically weak mark. It has already been erased by me, so this book, it's mine, I can give it to whoever I want to use it. Qin Fan said indifferently to Michael. Erased? Erased? Michael froze when he heard this. This was given to him by that god, and it had a brand on it that surpassed the god realm, and it was erased? It was erased when the other party took it into his hands? How is this possible? This person is extremely strange. What's the point of hesitating? Let's all strike. Just as Michael was stagnating, the witch god's voice came again. A treacherous green flame burned on his body and his hands formed a seal before 9 green balls of light flew towards Qin Fan. Qin Fan's eyes swept towards the green light balls that were given to him, and his eyes exploded with divine sense thunder rumble. The blue divine sense thunder struck out, and those green balls of light instantly exploded. Countless green flames spread out in the sky, and the power that erupted was already several times the power of a warm pressure bomb. That tremendous power might spread out. The divine mountain crazily shook, then collapsed, countless mountains and rocks rolling down. How could it be? The underworld fire divine thunder that I had condensed for 50 years was destroyed just like that. The witch god's heart was beating wildly at the sight. His heart was incomparably needy. 50 years ago, he had been defeated by that supreme martial god of the Summer Kingdom and had begged his way back to the Mayan Kingdom. Not only had he slumbered to recover, but he had also used the resources of the witch god's sect to condense the powerful 9 underworld fire divine thunderbolts for the sake of defeating that supreme martial god of the Summer Kingdom. However, now it was actually broken by the other party with a single glance. Even the sorcerer god, who had lived for 1,000 years and experienced countless storms and waves, was frozen in shock. Heavenly Army Divine Sword. And at this moment, Michael's divine light shone and converged into a golden greatsword that viciously chopped towards Qin Fan. The golden sword light shone and was incomparably sharp as it tore through the void and chopped towards Qin Fan. Qin Fan looked towards the divine sword that chopped at him and stretched out 2 fingers, pinching the heavenly army divine sword steadily. Michael held the sword with both hands and fought to draw it back, but it did not move. "This sword is okay, take it away," Qin Fan said indifferently, then his other hand slashed through the air and a sword light cut out. Where the sword light passed, Michael's hand was directly chopped off, while Qin Fan then drew the greatsword and then turned it around, instantly stabbing through Michael's heart as golden angelic blood flowed out. Michael's eyes were wide open. He didn't understand that he had been killed so easily by the other party and died under his divine sword. Qin Fan immediately drew out the heavenly army divine sword, golden angelic blood gushed out, and Michael's body then fell towards the ground. Qin Fan didn't even look at Michael, holding the heavenly army divine sword. He made a chop in the air towards the distant witch god. Swish! A golden sword aura shot out like a moon arc, then mercilessly chopped into the body of the sorcerer god, cutting him in half. In an instant, the sorcerer god only left behind an incredulous expression as he died horizontally on the spot. From the beginning to the end, he didn't understand what kind of existence he was fighting. Whoosh! After beheading the sorcerer god, Qin Fan's body moved again and swept towards the distance, chasing after the black light that shot towards the distance. No! Barbados sensed Qin Fan chasing after him, and before he could make a sound, he saw Qin Fan raise his sword and slash down. In an instant, Demon Barbados was cut off at the waist and 2 sections of his body fell into the mountain, dead beyond repair. Chapter 315, This is the End. This is the end? Xiao Huara looked at Barbados being chopped in half by Qin Fan's sword, and her expression went into a bit of a trance. She had no way of understanding why it ended just like this. As a fellow God Realm powerhouse, Xiao Huara knew best what kind of battles would be fought between God Realm powerhouses. Battles between God Realm powerhouses were never fought in a shocking and protracted manner as if she was facing Barbados alone, even though Barbados' own strength was much weaker than hers, but in a fight, she would need to spend some effort to take Barbados down. If one wanted to kill Barbados, it wasn't actually easy. Killing a God Realm powerhouse was definitely not easy. It was just like the former witch god. Back then, Yuan had severely injured the witch god and chased him all the way, trying to kill the witch god, but in the end, the witch god still got away. It wasn't that Yuan wasn't strong enough back then, it was really hard for the God Realm to kill the God Realm. The fall of a God Realm powerhouse was still more than 80 years ago during the Second World War. At that time, the world was in chaos, and the hidden God Realm powerhouses came out to fight, shaking the earth and mountains, and in the end, only one God Realm powerhouse had fallen. And now, 3 God Realm powerhouses had fallen at once. Not only did 3 God Realm powerhouses fall at once, but the speed of this fall was so fast that in less than a minute before and after, the 3 God Realm powerhouses were beheaded by Qin Fan. So much so, Xiao Huanger was in a trance. She had originally wanted to look for an opportunity to cut into the battlefield so that she could help Qin Fan. As a result, the opportunity didn't appear and everything was already over. This was a complete one-sided slaughter. There was really no way for Xiao Huanger, a God Realm powerhouse, to understand this. Not only was Xiao Huanger in a trance, but the head of the Burmese nation outside of the Divine Mountain, as well as those people, and those reporters were likewise in a trance. Is it over? How come it's over? Angels, demons, and sorcerer gods are all dead. How could this be? How could this be? Why is it over so quickly? Ah! My big news, I haven't even had a chance to capture the big news. Why is it over? This female reporter from the BBC was in a trance, with nothing but disbelief on her face. She had also come here fully prepared to see the emergence of a God Realm powerhouse, but she unexpectedly encountered 4 God Realm powerhouses fighting. Originally, she thought she could capture a ship that would shock the entire world. But everything ended too quickly, so quickly that the camera could only capture less than a minute of video, and the one who struck out didn't even manage to capture his looks before everything was over. And the people on the Burmese side were completely frozen there. The witch god was dead. The just awakened witch god was dead. This witch god, who was worshipped as a god by the Burmese nation, was dead. This was someone who had lived for more than 1,000 years, the most honored powerhouse in the entire Burmese kingdom had died just like this. How can it be? How can it be? How can the witch god die? He should be immortal. Ah! But this was the truth. The sorcerer god was very strong. He was already in the god realm a long time ago, and with 50 years of recuperation, his strength was even higher. However, now united in angel and demon 2 God Realm powerhouses, 3 God Realm powerhouses were just killed by the other party. Everyone couldn't believe this result. But this was the truth. Countless people had witnessed a fact that was completely unbelievable. If it wasn't for Qin Fan's interest in that divine book in Michael's hands, this battle would have only ended much faster. With the strength of the late Yuan realm, and still the topmost immortal infant Qin Fan, killing this kind of god realm that was similar to the Jiedan stage, not to mention 3, or even 300 would be just such a short period of time. And after Qin Fan killed the 3 god realm powerhouses, his eyes swept and quickly locked onto the angels and demons that Michael and Barbados had brought over. These angels and demons, sensing Qin Fan's gaze, had long ago been unable to move in fear. Qin Fan raised his hand and wiped it, and those angels and demons instantly exploded and vanished in smoke. The strength of these angels and demons were all at the Grand Master realm level. However, facing Qin Fan was just like that, and they were wiped out with their hands. Only after resolving these did Qin Fan land on the ground before raising his hand to release another divine ability, and those last 6 divine emissaries of the witch god cult similarly went up in smoke. All of them were killed cleanly. Qin Fan. And at this moment, Su Jing, who was protected by Team Zero, had come back to her senses at this moment and rushed out, going straight to Qin Fan's side before pouncing on him. And Xiao Huanger and these people also came back to their senses and came to Qin Fan's side. It's not over yet. However, Qin Fan let Su Jing get off his body and then said. Xiao Huanger froze for a moment upon hearing this, then she looked towards that coffin on the altar and immediately realized something and said, could it be that the sorcerer god he still has a backhand? Left a soul. Qin Fan said, then raised his hand and slapped towards that coffin. Boom! Instantly, a roaring sound came from the coffin as it instantly exploded. Ah! A shrill whistling sound then came, and then a mass of black gas was seen rushing out, and after this mass of black gas rushed out, it transformed into a black shadow and fled towards the distance. Locked by me and still want to escape? Qin Fan sneered contemptuously as his words fell. He reached out and grabbed, and instantly a large handprint appeared, grabbing this black shadow to his body. No, don't kill me, I've been cultivating for almost 2,000 years, I don't want to fall, spare me, I'm willing to do anything for you. The moment this black shadow was grabbed back, it immediately let out a shrill voice. Which god? Xiao Huanger's face was permeated with astonishment when she saw the appearance of this black shadow. This is a split soul that should have been cultivated with some sort of secret method. As long as this split soul does not perish, this sorcerer god will be able to look for a chance to resurrect again, or even remake his physical body. Qin Fan said as he pinched the witch god's split soul. When Xiao Huanger heard this, she instantly understood why Yi Wuya failed to kill the sorcerer god back then. This sorcerer god originally still had this backhand. And after he finished speaking, a force was released, and then this split soul of the sorcerer god instantly annihilated and went up in smoke. It's over this time. Qin Fan said only this time. The others looked at each other when they heard this, and the expressions on their faces were indescribably complicated. Especially Xiao Huanger and these people, how could they not expect that this time things would end with an outcome that was hard to believe? Wait. Suddenly, Su Jing fiercely spoke. What's wrong? Qin Fan looked at Su Jing and asked. There is still a person imprisoned down here, I don't know if it's related to the witch god cult. Su Jing suddenly said. When the crowd heard this, they looked at Su Jing with puzzled faces. Su Jing immediately said that there was a cell underneath the altar that was used to imprison people. Immediately, the group entered the dungeon under the altar. The dungeon wasn't large, there were 8 cells for detaining people, and inside the center one, a person in rags was being held. Chapter 316, she could be the Yu family's bloodline. Qin Fan and these people then walked to the cell, opened the cell door and walked in. And the person slowly raised his head, an old crone. Qin Fan had already swept this old crone with his divine sense, an ordinary person without any cultivation. It seemed that her life was about to come to an end because she had been imprisoned here for too long. This old crone had a withered face, her eyes were lifeless as she looked at Qin Fan and these people, then spoke out the Xia language in a hoarse voice. I won't say anything even if I'm killed. Granny, it's me, everything is over, the witch god is dead. With that, Su Jing bent down and said softly to the crone. The old crone looked towards Su Jing, and her originally godless eyes suddenly blossomed with light before she murmured, Child, is it true? It's really over, the sorcerer god is dead? Yes, it's over, the sorcerer god is dead, Granny, we can send you home now, Su Jing said to this old crone. She was imprisoned right next door to the cell, and when she was in a state of fear, it was this old crone who comforted her, and it was also this old crone who spoke Xia dialect within the entire cell. It was also this old woman who told her not to give up, letting her keep going and finally waiting for Qin Fan. And this old crone had already been imprisoned here for an unknown number of years, as if the witch god cult had not thought of sacrificing this old crone to the witch god. Going home? When this old crone heard this, her eyes dimmed once again and she sobbed, "I don't have a home anymore, my family was already destroyed by the witch god more than 20 years ago, and I've been imprisoned here by the witch god cult for more than 20 years. When the crowd heard this, their brows furrowed. "Granny, can you tell me what your name is?" Su Jing asked after thinking for a while. "My name?" The old crone looked at Su Jing for a moment and slowly said, "I am called Yu Shu Hua." Su Jing's pupils shrunk slightly when she heard the crone's name, and her voice trembled slightly as she asked, "Granny, are you the person from that Yu family in the southwest of the summer country?" Once Yu Shu Hua heard Su Jing's words, she asked, "Do you know the Yu family in the southwest of the summer kingdom?" Su Jing's breath caught in her throat when she heard this. As soon as Qin Fan heard this, his brows furrowed, and his mind immediately recalled that when he was in Huahai, Yun Zhe had guessed Su Jing's birth. Su Jing had been picked up by someone from the Su family, and it was only because of her special physique that she had been favored by the witch god cult over in Xia. And Yun Zhe had said that there was originally a Taoist Yu family in the southwest, and this Yu family might have given birth to people with special physiques from time to time because of their bloodline. And the Yu family was destroyed by the witch god cult more than 20 years ago, and the people of the Yu family had disappeared from the world since then. Su Jing's willingness to come to the southwest with Yun Zhe was because she wanted to look for the Yu family. It was just that she had come to the southwest for more than a year, but she still hadn't found a single person surnamed Yu. But now, how could she not expect that she would meet an old crone surnamed Yu from southwest here? Su Jing, she possesses a special physique, and she is an orphan from the southwestern part of the Summer Kingdom, so it is possible that she is of the Yu family's bloodline. Qin Fan saw that Su Jing was so nervous, so he helped Su Jing to talk about Su Jing's birth. When Yu Shu Hua heard this, she froze in her tracks, her eyes staring blankly at Su Jing, her voice trembling as she asked, "Is the child him? What he said true?" Su Jing nodded and said, "Grandma Yu, it's true." Hearing this, Yu Shu Hua tremblingly reached out to hold Su Jing's hand and said, "Really? Is there really a descendant of our Yu family left in the world? Grandma Yu, let's take you back to Kuan City first," Su Jing said as she held Yu Shu Hua's hand. Yu Shu Hua nodded. Then, the members of Team Zero carried Yu Shu Hua out of the underground cell. After leaving the dungeon, Xiao Weier said goodbye to Qin Fan. She was going to lead the people back to the Jade Void Palace to resume their orders. Qin Fan then said his goodbyes before he waved his hand and an aura was released, rolling up Su Jing and Yu Shu Hua straight into the sky, heading straight to Hua Mountain City to join Catherine. Xiao Huanger was filled with confusion when she saw Qin Fan just fly away. What exactly is his cultivation level? Legend Realm? She could not see through Qin Fan's strength at all. Go back to the Jade Void Palace and ask Old Man Qin. Finally Xiao Huanger shook her head and said. Then a pair of purple fire wings came open on her back, releasing an aura and taking the members of Team Zero with her. She rushed up into the sky as a purple firelight. What happened in Maine soon spread throughout the entire world because of a large number of videos and photos, with countless messages spreading above the internet. A strong person from the summer country broke into the Maine country alone and exterminated 500,000 of Maine's elite. Really? One person against a country? Is this person a deity? Of course it's a deity. This person single-handedly killed into the Burmese kingdom, then battled angels, demons, and the Burmese kingdom's deity, the witch god, on top of the Burmese kingdom's divine mountain, and then decapitated the angels, the demons, and that witch god. That battle performance, it's really a deity descending into the world. Who exactly is this person? I don't know, because the speed is really too fast. Many photos and videos can't even see this person's appearance. On the internet, for a while, countless people were talking about this strong man who was one man against one country, and many people wanted to know what the origin of this strong man was. Only, Qin Fan's speed was too fast, and those photos and videos were not able to capture Qin Fan's front face, so that no one even knew what Qin Fan really was, and this matter could be said to have shaken many powerful countries of the current generation, especially those in the West. The country of Myanmar was a small country, and within these powerful countries there were all God realm powerhouses that were strong enough to rival the country of Myanmar on their own. Only, the video that was finally circulated was only a short 49 seconds, but the images inside really made the vibrations of the countries. In 49 seconds, this Xia country's strong man had chopped 3 God realm off. This kind of battle record was simply unimaginable. At the time of World War II, God realm powerhouses came out and only one God realm powerhouse eventually fell, but now there was a person who had chopped 3 God realm powerhouses in less than 49 seconds. And these three powerhouses were Archangel Michael, Hellate demon god Barbados, and the witch god. The three powerhouses were all famous figures on the god ranking, with Michael ranked 17th on the god ranking, Barbados ranked 19th on the god ranking, and the witch god ranked 15th on the god ranking. So three powerful god realm powerhouses, but by a person to destroy the decapitation, died in the main god mountain. Such strength was simply too shocking. In the end, there were constant posts on the internet asserting that this Xia Kingdom God Realm powerhouse might be invincible to the God Realm. If, for example, the God rankings were to be rearranged, many people believed that this strong person from the Xia Kingdom would inevitably be able to ascend to number 1 on the God rankings. Chapter 317 God Ranking Update. The matter of Qin Fan's consecutive beheading of three God Realm powerhouses at the God Mountain in the Mayan Kingdom spread rapidly on the internet, and it also caused the matter to continue to fester. The defense departments of the world's major powers continue to analyze the video of only 49 seconds, trying to find the true body of the man who had killed three God Realm powerhouses in a row. Right now, the West was currently in a fierce competition with the Summer Kingdom. The entire West, which was nearly more than 60% of the entire world's power, had been oppressing the Xia Kingdom, keeping it in a passive state. However, now that a powerhouse who had killed three God realms in a row had suddenly appeared, this was clearly beyond the Western world's expectations, naturally causing the Western world to become restless. Therefore, they had to find out Qin Fan's true body. Only, using various technological means still failed to restore Qin Fan's true appearance. In the end, this powerful person from the Xia Kingdom was called Xia Shenming by the World Network, implying the gods of the Xia Kingdom. However, this Xia Shenming's name only lasted for a short half day, and after half a day, it was changed to Qin Shenming. This was because one day after the main kingdom divine war, the Xia Kingdom X organization Xian sect announced the divine list. This god list was in the hands of the extremely mysterious X organization Xian Gate of the Summer Kingdom. There were only 20 people who could be on the god list, and these 20 people hadn't changed for many years, because the strongest of the god realm hadn't appeared in front of the world for a long time, and as for striking out, that was few and far between, and the only few times they did strike out, it didn't affect the ranking of the god list. So the god ranking had never updated its ranking after World War II. Now that this Xia country's mystery had killed three god realm powerhouses in a row, and the ones who were killed were still the three powerhouses on the god ranking, so the god ranking was bound to be updated. Only, the results after this update caused the entire concerned forces and people to express their dissatisfaction. Why don't they announce the name? Why just announce a Qin character? Right, why is this Xian sect of the Summer Kingdom not having a pit in its brain, only announcing a surname? Where is the name behind it? Is it possible that the Xian sect is deliberately hiding the identity of this god realm powerhouse? Is it possible that this person is just called Qin? Yes, just like the one ranked 9th on the god ranking list is called Hijack. That's a person from Xia. How could he only have the character Qin? Many people continued to speak out on the internet, expressing their dissatisfaction and deliberately accusing the Xian sect of deliberately harboring this person from the Xia Kingdom. However, a person who claimed to be from the Xian sect, with the screen name Jianghu Baishao Shang, soon issued a post. The divine ranking is a stone tablet, a treasure, and the rankings on it are all arranged by the divine ranking itself, and the names are automatically revealed. As for why there's only one character Qin, that's because the god ranking thinks that this person is named Qin. This Jianghu Baishao Shang explained everything and also posted a photo of the stone tablet on the internet. The stone monument was black in color with white characters on it, and there were a total of 20 names inscribed on it, and the fifth one was Qin. Many people didn't believe the photo, but then there were several powerful people of the divine realm on the stone monument who confirmed that this was the divine ranking. One of them, a netizen named Purple Heavenly Divine Phoenix, had likewise posted the proof, and this netizen's true identity was soon found out, and that was Xiao Divine Maiden, a god realm powerhouse from the Xia Kingdom, and this Xiao Divine Maiden also ascended onto the god ranking after this update, coming in at the 8th position. And with the confirmation of Goddess Xiao, it made the people on the internet believe everything. But why is this Qin Shenming only ranked 5th? With him killing three god ranking powerhouses in a row, this strength can definitely be ranked first on the god ranking. That's right, I think this Qin Shenming is invincible at the god realm. Many people expressed their disapproval of the fact that Qin Shenming could only be ranked 5th. That's because the divine ranking thinks that this Qin Shenming is not as strong as the previous 4. You guys should be able to understand when you see who the first 4 are. Jianghu Baishao immediately gave an explanation, because the god ranking was a stone tablet's own judgment to make a ranking, and since this Qin Shenming was only ranked 5th, that was because the god ranking considered Qin Shenming to be inferior to the 4 people in front of him. After looking at the 4 people in front of him, those doubts immediately dissipated. This was because the four people in front of them were definitely legends in the entire world. The first one was named God, who was said to be the god of the X organization's divine punishment actor. The second was the Hell's No. One demon god, Baal. The third is Arthur Pendragon, the king of the X organization's Dragon Knights. The fourth was Dracula, the 1,000-year-old count of the Blood Clan. These four people were all renowned super powerhouses in the history of mankind, so the fact that this Qin Divine Ming was ranked in the 5th place made all of them relieved. However, the fact that the Summer Kingdom had two God Realm powerhouses enter the top 10 at once this time definitely shocked the entire world. Xia Kingdom, Jade Void Palace. What's going on with this God ranking? Why does it only show a Qin character and where's the mortal character behind it? After Xiao Huara came back, she approached Qin Ziang, and after seeing the rankings of the God ranking come out, she was a little fired up. The divine ranking is a treasure, only one word appears naturally for its own reasons, external forces can't interfere. Qin Ziang was in a great mood at this time. This time, the task of stopping the witch god was considered to be overfulfilled. The Western world lost two God realm powerhouses, plus the witch god. This was a way to make the pressure on the Xia side a little less. Che, this Qin fan is only ranked 5th and I'm only ranked 8th, it's definitely not right. Xiao Huanger still said with some dissatisfaction. After all, those four are all big names. Qin Ziang said with a smile. Old man Qin, how come that absolute martial god Yi Wuya isn't up there anymore? I remember you saying that he had been ranked first before. Xiao Huanger asked. It's because Yi Wuya has already crossed the god realm and stepped into the realm of legends. Qin Ziang said. Xiao Huayer's complexion moved slightly upon hearing this and said, true enough. After saying that, she added, Old man Qin, the one from your Qin family is also in the realm of legends? You guessed, Qin Ziang said with a beaming smile. Xiao Huara glared at Qin Ziang upon hearing this, then her body fiercely burned with purple flames, transforming into purple fire wings before flying away. Goddess Xiao, this chess game isn't finished yet, why did you leave? Qin Ziang shouted. I'm not going to play anymore, I'm going to go into closed-door cultivation, I'm going to enter the legend realm. Xiao Huanger responded. Qin Ziang smiled and shook his head, thinking, it seems that this goddess Xiao was stimulated by Qin Fan. And naturally, Xiao Huara was irritated because after she came back and recalled Qin Fan's full battle, she felt as if this fellow Qin Fan did not give his best but made reservations. If he killed 3 God Realm powerhouses in a row within a minute without giving his best, then Qin Fan's strength was really unfathomable, which really irritated her a little. Why was it that he was also in his 20s, how could he be so strong? Therefore, Xiao Huanger felt that it was time for her to cultivate to catch up. Chapter 318, A Different Number. United States of America, White Palace. At this moment, the President of the United States of America, Bei He, is looking at the front of a group of white shadow with an extremely tense color. This white shadow is God. No one knew his real face, even if it was a man or a woman, no one knew, because the people who had seen his real face were all dead. Lord God, is there an oracle coming from the Hall of Gods? The President of the United States of America, Bai Shi, asked nervously to God. Bai Shi is the President of the United States of America, but in front of him, this God adult is too big. He runs through the entire history of the United States of America for more than 200 years, and the United States of America can become the #1 powerful country in the world, but also because of the existence of this God he himself has a strong and incomparable strength, but also to the United States of America to provide a variety of black technology. It is not too much to say that this God is the master of the United States of America. Moreover, the United States of America always know that behind this God, there is a horrible to indescribable force, and this force is called the Hall of Gods. In this world, not many people knew about the Temple of Gods organization. This is a mysterious and terrifying organization that has existed for an unknown number of years, almost running through the long history of mankind, and even legend has it that the history of mankind is planned by the Temple of Gods. Everything presented by humanity now was all presented by the decision of the Hall of Gods. This Qin is considered an anomaly by the Hall of Gods. The God said flatly. Anomaly? Bai Shi was a bit puzzled. This time, in the war between us and the ancient immortal descendants of the East, the prophet of the Hall of Gods had predicted that it would still be a victory for us, the Hall of Gods, but just yesterday, the prophet realized that the future had shifted, and that an anomaly had appeared in the East, making everything unpredictable. God said. When these words came out, it made the 70-something-year-old man, Bayashi's body tremble. The god of prophecy of the Temple of Gods, foreknowledge was never wrong, and because of this, the West dared to oppress the Xia kingdom with impunity. However, at this moment, it was said that an anomaly had appeared, which made Bei Thin tense and ask, then, what should be done? Find this Qin, the god said. When Bayashi heard this, he nervously asked, Lord God, can't you take action? What the Hall of Gods means is to find this person and spy on him. God said. Bayashi nodded slightly at his words and said, I will mobilize all intelligence systems to find out about this Qin. Go do it. God said, then the white shadow gradually dissipated. Seeing the god disappear, Bayashi let out a long breath, and then immediately gave the order for all of Milky Way's intelligence systems, including those underground dark forces, to use all of their power to search for Qin's true body. This is the oracle of the Hall of Gods, and must be accomplished. Above the Atlantic Ocean, there is a volcanic island. This volcanic island is called Hell Island, and this is the base camp of Hell. The trees on Hell Island are lush, the golden sandy beach is extremely beautiful, and there are a large number of Western castle buildings on the island. Outside the biggest castle gate, there is a long line of people who are all dressed up, and these people are all the dignitaries, elites, and tycoons of Europa. These people were lining up to pay homage to the master of Hell, Demon Godball. President Europa, come in. A female voice came out, and then a middle-aged woman in full dress walked through the doors of the castle. This middle-aged woman was the president of Europa, Lane Vaughn. Lane Vaughn walked within the great hall of the castle and knelt on the ground while a kindly-looking old man sat on the throne directly above him. Rise. The old man said calmly. Ryan Vaughn nervously got up and said, Lord Barr, I wonder what is the reason for inviting me here this time. In the matter of the Kingdom of Maine, the Hall of Gods has sent down an oracle to find out Qin's true body, Bear said. Lane Feng's complexion changed drastically upon hearing this. She didn't expect that this time, the matter had even angered the Hall of Gods. Yes. Without a hint of hesitation, Lane Feng immediately answered. Stand down. Bear spoke. Soon after, Lane Vaughn nervously exited the hall. She needed to return to Europa as soon as possible, using all the power Europa could muster to find out about Qin, as this was the oracle of the Hall of Gods. Lord Barr, that Qin killed Barbados, why don't you personally take action to kill him and avenge Barbados? After Lane Feng left, a voice came out, a voice that carried a monstrous rage within it. Barbados, one of the 8 great demon gods, had died in Qin's hands, which was a humiliation for Hell and a blood feud, and many of the demon gods wanted to personally travel to the Summer Kingdom to kill Qin. After that, a woman with a head of lacquered silver hair, a peerless appearance, and an extremely outstanding figure walked out. This woman was dressed in revealing clothes, with a pair of pitch-black demonic wings behind her back. This woman was the 3rd demon god Vashik, an abyssal demoness, whose real name was Sally, ranked 11th on the divine list. And the Izumo shrine in Japan belonged to Sally. The oracle of the pantheon of gods, the foreign number is unfathomable, so we can only seek it out for the time being and wait and see what happens. Bear said. After saying that, he got up and then took a step out, and the moment he did, a pitch-black door immediately appeared in front of him before he disappeared into the doorway. Anomaly? After Barr left, Sally said coldly, whether you are an anomaly or not, this revenge must be avenged. And then, the devil's wings flapped and turned into a black light and left the castle Wa Mountain City. 3 days after the matter in Burma had passed, Qin Fan returned to Wa Mountain City with Su Jing to meet up with Catherine, and as for Burma triggering a series of things, he did not pay attention to it. This was because in Qin Fan's opinion, there was no need to pay attention at all. At this moment, he ended Yu Shua's treatment within the hotel in Wa Mountain City. Grandma Yu, you're all better yet. Moreover, it's a bit wrong for me to call you Grandma Yu now, it's time to call you Auntie Yu. Su Jing looked at Yu Shua, her face filled with joy. Under Qin Fan's treatment, Yu Shua had recovered, not only recovered, even her appearance had recovered quite a bit, no longer in her 70s, but in her 50s. Child, it's really thanks to you. Yu Shua looked towards Su Jing, her eyes filled with light as Su Jing was most likely of the Yu family bloodline. Later on, Catherine will pass on the genetic test results. Qin Fan then said. Su Jing and Yu Shua nodded slightly as they heard this, and the look on their faces was indescribably tense. After meeting up with Catherine, Qin Fan let Catherine leave Washan City with Su Jing and Yu Shua's blood for the genetic test, and now the results should come out. Ding! And at this moment, a sound was transmitted from Qin Fan's cell phone. He immediately opened it and checked the message from Catherine. Master, Su Jing and Yu Shuhua are not mother and daughter in terms of their genetic structure, however, the two have a high degree of genetic similarity and belong to a similar blood relationship. According to the judgment of my medical knowledge, Yu Shuhua should be Su Jing's aunt. Qin Fan then informed Su Jing and Yu Shuhua of the information. Su Jing and Yu Shuhua, upon hearing this, cried tears of joy and hugged each other. Child, you really are our Yu family's bloodline, you should be my sister Shen's daughter. Yu Shuhua cried as she hugged Su Jing. Aunt! Su Jing said with the same tears, she had finally found her relatives. Chapter 319 Holy Spirit Sect Relic. Seeing the two hugging each other, Qin Fan stepped out of the room so that the two could talk properly. Qin Fan, Auntie has something to say to you. About an hour later, Su Jing came out and said to Qin Fan. Qin Fan nodded and walked into the room with Su Jing. Qin Fan, that, from now on, I won't be called Su Jing, my name is Yu Yushan. Su Jing said to Qin Fan after she came in. Yu Yushan? Qin Fan responded. I'm pretty sure that Su Jing is my sister Yu Yushan's daughter. At that time, she was born only 3 days ago. Our Yu family was exterminated by the witch god cult. I thought that there was no more bloodline left in the world in the Yu family except for me. Now that I can see Yu Yushan, I really feel that the heavens have favored me, and I have to thank you as well. Yu Shuhua said to Qin Fan. Qin Fan nodded and turned to Yu Yushan and said, then I will call you Yu Yushan from now on. Aha! Yu Yushan looked at Qin Fan and answered. Qin Fan, I'm already clear about your strength, so I can also feel at ease telling you and Yushan the secrets of the Yu family, and I hope you can help Yushan. Seeing this, Yu Shuhua said. Yu family's secret? Yu Yushan looked at her aunt with a puzzled face as she listened. Go ahead, if it's something related to Yushan, I will help. Qin Fan said. Yu Shuhua nodded and then said, you should have already heard that women who contain the Yu family bloodline will be born with a special physique. Yes, I've heard this from Yunzhe, and because of this, Yunzhe guessed that Su Jing was from your Yu family's bloodline. Qin Fan nodded and said. Yu Yushan nodded her head as well when she heard this. It was precisely this point that she had found this aunt of hers. However, she was a little curious as to why only having the Yu family bloodline and only women were born with a special physique, so she asked, Auntie, why is that? Because our Yu family is descended from the Holy Spirit sect's sacred nun. Yu Shuhua said. Holy Spirit sect? Qin Fan and Yu Yushan were both a bit puzzled when they heard this. The Holy Spirit sect was established thousands of years ago in the southwestern mountains of the Summer Kingdom and the area of the Burma Kingdom, commanding nearly 10 million believers. It's not a problem to say that the Holy Spirit sect is a royal dynasty, and the Holy Spirit sect's sect leader, that is, the sacred nun's surname is Yu Yushan said. Hearing this, Qin Fan and Yu Yushan understood that the Yu family was the descendant of that holy nun. Auntie, what happened after that? I don't seem to have any records in the history of the Summer Kingdom. Yu Yushan asked. Yes, there is almost no record of the Holy Spirit cult in history, as it was recorded in history as the witch god cult. Yu Shuhua said. Auntie, are you saying that the witch god cult is the Holy Spirit cult? Yu Shuhua nodded and said, about 2,000 years ago, the imperial dynasty of the Xia Kingdom realized the threat of the Holy Spirit cult and began to crusade against it. 2,000 years ago? Upon hearing this, Yu Yushan immediately remembered history and said, isn't that the witch extermination incident? Yu Yushan sighed as she heard, the predecessor of the witch god cult was the Holy Spirit cult, and back then, the Holy Spirit cult produced a great sorcerer, and this great sorcerer was named Gutang, and this Gutang was the witch god. It was because of Gutang's nonsense that caused the emperor to pay attention to the Holy Spirit sect, so he launched a war to exterminate the Holy Spirit sect, and in the face of the incredibly powerful imperial dynasty at the time, the Holy Spirit sect simply had no power to fight. It soon had to withdraw from the Xia Kingdom and fled to Myanmar. Shortly after the Holy Spirit cult fled to the territory of Myanmar, Gutang launched a rebellion, and from then on, the Holy Spirit cult was overthrown, and Gutang claimed to be the god of witchcraft and founded the witchcraft cult. After the establishment of the witch god cult, Gutang began to kill the Yu family bloodline on a large scale, but at that time, the people of the Yu family were still not weak, and after a few encounters with Gutang, the Yu family ended up escaping, and then day after day, year after year, roughly now more than 1,000 years ago, the Yu family once again returned to the southwestern part of the Xia country, and then the Yu family was once again established. Because of the special nature of the Yu family's bloodline, it allowed the Yu family to become one of the 6 great families of the Southwest Tao. And the women of the Yu family will not marry out once they have awakened their special physique, and if a woman who marries out gives birth to a girl once she awakens her special physique, she will also be taken back to the Yu family to be raised. Your mother didn't have a special physique, so she married out, but as a result you awakened a special physique after you were born, probably because you were born outside the Yu family. The witch god cult didn't know that you were related to the Yu family, that's why you weren't executed by the witch god cult, but instead were cultivated as a special physique and used as a pot for elevating your cultivation. Yu Yushan's heart was filled with fear after hearing this. The fact that she had survived until now and finally met Qin Fan was really full of all sorts of misadventures. First, she was picked up by the Su family under the witch god cult, then she was raised as a cauldron by the witch god cult. If the witch god cult had once known that she was a bloodline of the Yu family, she would have definitely died in her infancy. Auntie, why did the witch god leave you imprisoned under that altar in the end? Yu Yushan asked. This is our Yu family's biggest secret. Yu Shuhua said. The Yu family's biggest secret? What exactly is it? Yu Yushan asked the location of the Holy Spirit sect's holy relics. Yu Shuhua said. Holy Spirit sect Holy Land ruins? Yu Yushan's pretty face changed slightly upon hearing this. Regarding the Holy Spirit sect as well as the Holy Land ruins, only the Yu family's family head can know about it. I was the Yu family's family head at that time, so I was captured by the witch god sect's people and imprisoned underground in Burma, just because they wanted me to tell where the Holy Spirit sect's ruins were. Yu Shuhua said. I'm afraid that you would have died if you had spoken out. Qin Fan said. Yu Shuhua nodded, revealing a smile and said, that's right, so no matter how much I was tortured, I wouldn't tell the secret because I believe that as long as I live, I can wait for hope, and right now, I'm really waiting for hope, and moreover, I've even seen my niece. Yu Yushan heard this, her eyes once again flooded with tears. Her aunt was locked up there for more than 20 years, she didn't know how much torture she had endured, she really survived by faith. Are you prepared to tell me about the Holy Spirit sect relics? Qin Fan then asked. Aha. Yu Shuhua nodded and said, I was imprisoned there for more than 20 years, the spiritual essence in my body has been taken away by the sorcerer god. Even though I recovered under your treatment, I no longer have a spiritual body, I am just an ordinary person, and Yushan is the last of our Yu family's special physique. I have to tell her this secret. Qin Fan frowned for a moment as he heard this, then said, has your Yu family never been to the Holy Spirit sect ruins? The ancestral training passed down by the Yu family is that one should never travel to the Holy Spirit sect ruins without the strength of the god realm. Yu Shuhua said. Auntie, are you asking Qin Fan to take me there? Yu Yushan said right. Yu Shuhua nodded and said, then looked at Qin Fan. Yes. Qin Fan said.